matter what happens, I want you all to stay together, and I want you to do what you need to do to get out of here. Don't worry about me. Help as you can if you can. But mostly worry about yourselves, okay?
I'm not leaving you alone. You can do this.
If anything happens, I want to know that you will be okay.
I'll be safe.
Actually, he flips the conversation. He goes, I've noticed a little thing between you and Brett.
What?
Nothing.
No matter what happens, I want you all to stay together, and I want you to do what you need to do to get out of here. Don't worry about me. Help as you can if you can. But mostly worry about yourselves, okay?
I'm not leaving you alone. You can do this.
If anything happens, I want to know that you will be okay.
I'll be safe.
flips the conversation. He goes, I've noticed a little thing between you and Brett.
What?
Nothing.
No matter what happens, I want you all to stay together, and I want you to do what you need to do to get out of here. Don't worry about me. Help as you can if you can. But mostly worry about yourselves, okay?
I'm not leaving you alone. You can do this.
If anything happens, I want to know that you will be okay.
I'll be safe.
Big me is watching over little me. Yeah, I have to go in. I like Nori's one right now. We all need to switch to that one for this session.
I found mine.
There you go. The underwater bird. Underwater bird for the win.
It's in honor of our field trip. Excuse me.
Follow some of the aquariums on Twitter, and their live cams are always amazing.
Oh yeah, my third grade we had a virtual field trip to the Cal Academy for their penguins. It was adorable.
I was sleeping, so I'm sad I missed it. I saw your invite, but I was sleeping.
It was recorded. You can watch it still. But they also have
I went back and
live cams. They're adorable.
All right, ready to get started? So, recapping last session. After waking, Kaporin was the first down to see a sea of silver gray and white hair, as it seems a massive influx of Duergar had arrived overnight or this morning. He made his way and got breakfast, and was given a little information by Rashi that these Duergar are not from Kember, and that seemed to sate his intellectual appetites for what was going on. Rachad joined next, and after getting scarred by seeing all the deep-fried chicken, Kaporin thought it best to give him a pick-me-up by ordering a couple 100 pounds of fish, which he then thoroughly flung onto the table. After the rest joined them and they discussed their ventures for the day, they got their horses summoned and, after discussing the game plan, made their way westward, towards Qatar. They got to the beachhead and headed northwards, finally finding the cliff and house upon it. They approached and were met by an unseemly character of a hobgoblin missing left eye, arm, and leg. They conversed with him for a bit, asking of him the information for the anchor and ties, when another showed up behind the group. Half Goliath, half Triton, Qatar had finally made his appearance, though the group didn't know they were talking to the wrong person all along. They finally got around to the business that they were there for, after Qatar mentioned he knew of Racha and Nori and what the bounty was up to her now. For the information they seek, Qatar put a task in front of them. Go to the Elven Armada ship that he had been scavenging, and to get some items by the end of the day tomorrow. Group accepted these terms and started preparing for their journey ahead. I'm going to go ahead and kind of cut us back a little bit, or right after you guys leave, because Racha wanted to leave some items by the front door, as well as in case you guys came up with any other ideas you wanted to do for this next leg of your adventure, now would be the time to get that done.
So wait, so Rashad just dumped a bunch of stuff in front of Qatar's house. We're gonna come back. He's gonna be so pissed.
It's neatly organized, but it is set basically on the guy's porch off to the side a little bit because I figured nobody's going to be walking up there but those two.
I'm probably just gonna ditch a couple of my items on the ground, but nothing too much. More like just like my torches and random crap that I don't really need in the ocean.
Remember, for most of you, this is underwater, so things that get wet and things that have a problem getting wet. If you go underwater, which most likely you're going to do if you plan to succeed in this task, these things will not coexist very well. Looking at you, Spellboy.
Is my standard spellbook not waterproof?
Nope. Your grimoire is.
Is there room in Racha's the chest for Cha placed on Qatar's porch?
It technically only has the little toy frogs and the jumping beans in it.
So there would be enough room inside the chest, yes.
Okay. I'll go put my standard spellbook in there.
For my disguise kit and forgery kit, would they would get damaged as well? Okay.
Yes. Think of drowning makeup underwater for however long you're going to be, and powders and inks. Let me know how salt water does with those things.
Yeah. So I mean, they're kind of valuable to me, but not really. But so I will just end up leaving like those kind of items behind. My kits, I threw away my torches and probably my maritime book. Those are the only 3 items that I'm.
Yeah. So as far as everything
water worried.
goes, as far as everything goes, any kits that anyone has, unless magically intuned or a magical kit of itself, will be destroyed. Except for certain tools, like smith tools will be fine. Mess tools, so food utensils is what they're called. Those will be fine. But healer's kits, forgery kits, things like those will be destroyed.
I figured my carpenter's tools I was actually going to bring, would those be fine?
They'll be fine as long as they're not left underwater. I mean, for a few hours, they should be okay.
My loot.
Again, that's more as long as you
Yeah.
don't keep it under there, it should be fine. Wood can dry out, so if it's just wood, it's gonna be okay, but it's gonna be waterlogged. It's smaller materials, things that can rip and decay and disperse.
Maybe leave behind the rations so we don't get salty food.
To be fair, rations are already pretty salty.
Yeah.
Saltier.
I mean, this is more medieval-esque, so when it comes to ration, it's pretty much just like salted meats and jerkies. But yes, and also weight-wise, it would be beneficial. Rations can get pretty heavy pretty quick.
Can I say that I'm just taking my weapon, my armor, and my shield, but leave everything in my equipment so I don't forget to put it back?
Yeah, that's fine. You don't have to actually take it out of your equipment list. Just kind of make a note to yourself that this is gone. So if anything does happen, like you come back and everything's gone, you'll know which things to take out.
I'm just writing them down. Oh, it goes away when I show my thing.
I wanted to clarify. I've got a random book in my inventory, so I'll put that in the chest. As I guess I'll keep my backpack so I can carry stuff with it. All the stuff in my component pouch, not that matters since I'm leaving my whole spell book behind. Is all that's magical, or they've got magical enchantments for longevity, don't they?
Some do.
Some do. Okay.
Things like herbs, coal, and stuff that gets used by a spell doesn't. Some like your ziggurat's fine.
I don't have anything that gets used up, so everything else is fine.
Yeah, it should be.
Okay. So I'll keep my component pouch on me just in case. Keep the dagger. Is my ink bottle, does it have like a stopper in it that would keep it dry?
It does have a stop. Oops.
I don't have any. Never mind. I'll leave. I've got a little bag of sand for some reason. Wizard starting equipment. I'll leave all my parchment there, and I'll take. Yeah, I'll leave my rations too.
The little bag of sand is technically your whiteout. Is essentially what it is.
Oh, I guess that makes sense. So I'm just taking my arcane grimoire and my backpack.
Okay, so obviously, like comprehend languages, a pinch of soot and salt won't do well.
I'm not taking any.
There'll be plenty of salt around, so I think that part's fine.
I was gonna say, just use the water.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just would Yeah, I'm keeping my component pouch since not everything would be. I probably won't take it out, but I'll just keep it all in since it's magic stuff.
Yeah, I'm going through your spells quickly right now. I mean, pretty much all of it you can keep on you, and then anything that does get destroyed, you can just replace. Honestly, it's probably the easier way to do it.
Yeah, because the only spells I have are Detect Magic, Comprehend Languages, and Fireball going into this anyway, so...
Okay, yeah.
Those are all pretty easy components to get anyway if they do get destroyed.
Well, your sea invisibility is going to get destroyed. It's a pinch of talc and powdered silver.
Yeah, but as you said, they're all pretty easy, and we'll probably go straight back to Kimber after this is over, so I'll just... it'll be easier to just keep it instead of taking everything out individually and saying what I'm going to take out.
Yeah, everything else should be fine. Yeah, you don't need to tell me exactly what you guys are taking out. Just leave markers next to it, and if something were to happen where items go missing, then we'll have some fun.
Yeah.
No foreshadowing. No foreshadowing.
Considering we survive, after we go back to Kimber, I'll just do a general resupply. So
yeah, not a problem.
However much that ends up being, it's whatever.
So have you guys come up with any other ideas on how you want to tackle this, or are you sticking with the glass raft?
What's Nori's intelligence today?
Her intelligence stays the same. It's her rolling that tends to differ.
I am really hoping I roll well because I've been rolling bad all week.
Well, I mean, luckily eventually Rashi was able to kind of bring everything back around and cover for you. And they understood what I was trying to get you to roll for all those times. So
I just need to roll nature or something I'm actually good at.
So,
but
go ahead.
Oh, I was just say, yeah, I think we're gonna stick with our plan. Build the glass raft, tug Kaporn along, 8 owls, and then we'll figure out our plan when we hit the ship or get closer to it.
We got like a skeleton of a plan for when we get to the ship and stuff. It's just like because we already kind of agreed we're probably gonna have to rest at least once, so that'll give me the ability to make like a wooden raft if we need it. on for the way back?
And
Real
then
quick,
it's about
sorry. For
No.
Val, I just remembered the grimoire is a focus, so I'm just gonna leave my component pouch.
Yeah, that works too.
yeah, I'm gonna leave my component pouch as well. My components in my bag. Just take my staff.
Okay. So, with that, the plan of the glass raft being pulled by the 8 owls, nowhere you're not transforming, or you are.
No, I am not.
Okay. And the owls are good for an hour apiece, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I do have a question about timing.
Mhm.
So is it taking 2 hours or 3 hours to get there?
You don't know. You
Okay.
don't have an exact distance, so you can't gauge. You're saying roughly between 2 to 3 hours, because it's roughly between 10 and 15 miles. It's really just dependent on curvature of the Earth and horizon and how far it actually is out there. I need.
Don't forget, we all have water breathing on us too.
Mhm.
Everyone.
Yep, water breathing for 24 hours. But I need someone to make the fateful D4 roll for me.
Yeah, no, not me.
Baby shark.
Who out of us is the luckiest?
One will roll. I think Rashi and Nori are kind of banned from rolling at the moment, but well, I will give it a roll.
I
A
just
D4.
need. I just need someone to roll a D4.
Wait, what?
That's not a D4.
It was a D4 when I pressed it. Okay. Oh.
Hey, you don't know what that means. You don't know what that means. It's just something I needed on my end of things.
Yeah, we don't know what that means. Sure.
A 1 is never good.
Tell that to the other group. They got
Unless you
1,000
want to
gold.
purposely fail.
Sure.
Can I go with the 8 and we flipped it in half, so it's 4 and 4?
Not quite. Well, the other group learned quickly while traveling. I do these rolls, and one time they rolled a 9 and it was really good, and then another time they rolled a 9 and it was really bad. So it's really just what I felt like putting in the right spots at the right time. Okay.
No preparation, just chaos and fear.
All right, so you all are on the raft with Kaporin being kind of jet skied behind. I remember you guys bought a bunch of rope, so you should have enough to roughly get this going and off into the water. Say roughly right about now, you're looking at about you said you left, so you're looking right about 2 p.m. ish. As right after you guys talked to Qatar, came down, made your decisions, did your things, and left what you needed to leave and started going. So you roughly have about 4 hours of daylight. Just FYI. As you guys start to delve into the water and getting the raft situated, which by yourselves, just kind of yanking this raft along, heavy as fuck. But luckily you have Bryn. So she's just like, as everyone is there struggling, Richaw kind of directing everyone else like a good supervisor does.
He has one foot up on his little step stool and standing like Captain Morgan.
That's correct. But eventually you get it into the water. Luckily, the water in this part of the world is warm, even though you guys are in the tail end of winter. It is still very Bahama-esque. So it's a nice feeling, but as everyone knows, once the sun goes down and the further down you go in the water, temperature might become a problem because it still is winter. So another thing to keep in mind. But nevertheless, you guys get the raft afloat on the water. The owls get summoned. Nori jumps around.
Was my Wi-Fi that died then?
Oh, I'm guessing. I don't know. I just saw you just bloop bloop. But The owls get summoned, so you guys are now on a timer. Kaporin, you get laid out in the water behind the raft as it starts to get pulled ahead. Who's tying all the knots?
Who's good at knots?
Who has a good? I feel like Rachel would probably be the
It'd
one
be a
tying
dex
knots.
check, so whoever wants to be the official knot tire of Kaporin and the owls.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it wasn't Rashi because she worked on the raft, so she freaking made the raft for everyone. So someone else tied the knots.
I don't
Let's
think
be real.
Saren has ever tied a knot, so good luck, Racha.
It has to be Racha. He's the one who makes all of the contraptions.
Yeah.
It has to be Rachel.
But-
He's the only one that's tied the knot.
That was metaphorical though. But is it a sleight of hand or is it just a
Just straight dex.
Can we like give him help?
He don't need no help. Because unfortunately, when it comes to help on on something that one person is doing very specifically, that would mean you going in and doing the knot as well. When it comes to knots, that's not a good thing to do.
Yeah, like coaching me about it? It's just like, what are you doing? I
Kind
already
of being
know.
like Ghost and putting their arms around you and like helping you shape the clay pot. All right. So with the knots secured on the raft and around Kaporin, you guys set off into the water. It's going decently well after the first couple waves, because as the waves crash against the beachhead, it's a little hard to get going. But once you're past the majority of the waves, it's smoother sailing. You guys travel on about an hour's worth. The first owls, Nori, you feel are about to falter out, and you let everyone know that, hey, we're going to be stopping soon because the owls are about to be done. And just as you get done saying so, poof, they're gone. You go and start casting again. The owls reappear. You have them each pick up the lines and start the journey once more. It's about 20 minutes in, though, when the waves start getting a little bit choppier. This decently clear sky day, somewhat, the wind picks up. A fog bank kind of rolls off the water and pushes up into the sky, creating a very low cloud cover. And the wind starts braiding your owls. You guys start churning and chopping. My two people, I need con saves.
Ooh, I was afraid of that.
Wait, does it count that I'm in the water though?
You'll be seasick no matter what with this
Okay.
amount of chop. Luckily, you're not keeping concentration on any spell or anything. So, Kaporin, as you're in the water, kind of just rocking on these waves up and down, you're not underwater. So, yes, the seasickness does still affect your inner ear and throws you for a loop. You start just throwing up as you're getting dragged along, so now you're just just leaving a nice little trail behind you. And it's only about like the 8th or 9th throw up that you look back and you just see like dolphins going and eating your vomit behind you. And you're kind of like, that's pretty, and then you're just like, oh god. Nori, you just start to get dizzy and a headache overtaking you, and luckily you passed. DC was 16. So you don't have to keep making your con save to keep your spell up. But the owls trudge forward and push you guys through. It does slow you down, though. Ends up taking your hour-long trip and knocking it down to half an hour. So you get about 8 miles out. You have about 10 more minutes left on your birds. They can get you probably another mile. But I need Richaw to make a perception check. since you're the highest one up and you can see over the waves on your little perch. Though to be fair, if
Good
Kaporn
thing
was
I made that perch.
to be fair, if Kaporn was standing on the thing, he'd be able to see taller, but nevertheless. Looking out over the waves as they're starting to subdue, but are still decently large, you can see the front end of the ship that's jutting out from the water at a almost 90-degree angle, but slightly off. It looks pretty far away. You look back at the shore to kind of give you a distance bearing of like, okay, well, we've gone this far in this amount of time. How far roughly do we have left? You're over halfway. Decently over halfway. But you're not going to make it. You've probably got a good 3 to 4 miles left. Now, with the 10 minutes, you'll make it a mile. So that'll bring you, a good quarter or a third of the way there. But unless Nori has another cast hidden somewhere.
I do have one more cast. I've been keeping track.
So your birds finish and getting to the top of the waves with Dratral pointing out the ship off in the distance, because with the cloud cover too, it also makes it decently hard to see this thing, as there is no lighted backdrop for it to shadow against. He points it out to you, and you guys kind of gauge where you're at, and you want to do the spell?
I don't exactly have much of a choice, now do I? I do the spell.
So the owls get summoned once again. Kaporin takes the few minutes of that decision making to kind of quell his stomach. And
I underwater. I want to just be like submarine style.
You'll create more drag on the ship itself.
Fine, Kaporn will suffer so that we'll get there faster.
Well, the wind's dying down, so it's not becoming too much of a problem anymore. But you guys push forward, and the owls get resummoned and continue on. About halfway through your cast, Nori, with everyone keeping a harsh eye out for the jutting ship coming out of the water, need everyone to make a round of perception checks for me, besides Kaporin.
You said this was 30 minutes into us going?
Correct. 30 minutes into the third cast.
Rush, you're on mute if you're trying to speak.
I think Rash is just trying to get to the character page. All right. Rashi, as you're kind of keeping out and looking over your raft, your creation, you've never done glass from sand like this before, at least not on this scale, so you're admiring your work. You guys are moving towards the jutting up ship, which is, from where you're at right now, maybe about a few hundred feet off. But as you're admiring your raft, looking through it, you see through it. You can see through your raft down into the water, watching the fish swim by, having a good time. Oh, it looks nice. Wait, what's that? It's hard to make out, but you kind of squint and kind of put your eyes away from the sun to help, dilate them a little bit, and that looks like a broken half of a ship right there. Looks like this ship broke apart and separated. So the actual bottom half you guys are currently passing over at the moment, where the front half of the ship that stands out from the water is still a good few hundred feet away.
Hey, everybody, the bottom half of the ship is right below us. That's the part we need to go to, right?
I tell the owls to stop.
Look through my raft. You can see it down below.
Your raft is very cool.
I'm not sure we should stop here. Even if we do have to go down there, we still need somewhere to put the raft.
I agree. I think we should go and tie off so we don't lose this.
Alrighty, onward, owls.
All right. The owls continue forward, taking you about another 400 feet or so up to the front half of the raft. You guys get there and see that it has suffered some damage and missing a lot of boards, a lot of pieces. The one mast that does stick up from it is cracked in multiple places, and no hint of fabric is on it. Looking at the ship itself, you're kind of looking at how the state that it's in. You'd be flabbergasted that anything either survived from it or would even be there still. It looks like this front half has taken just a beating from the weather over however many years it's been here. But it still has crap. I forgot the name of it, and I'm gonna piss myself. But I'm just gonna use tie. It does have the portion to wrap the rope around the ties along the side of the half that's there. So you do have some place that you can connect everything to the ship if you'd like to do that. You still have the owls for about another 25 minutes or so, so feel free to do with them what you will. Just have them doing circle eights or something. You might as well. But after a few moments with Racha doing the knot tying, you guys are secured to the front half of the ship.
Does it have a name or anything that we can see? Or is it that part missing as well?
Looking for that right now.
And how many hours has it been?
About 2.5.
Cleat hitch is what those little pointy things are called.
Cleats, yes. Thank you, sir.
Of course.
All right. It does have letters on there for a name. The only people who speak Sylvan would be able to possibly read it, but I need you both to make perception checks unless you guys want to climb the side of the boat to get a closer look at it.
I think I'll just do a perception check.
Saren, you're more interested in the fact that this ship, which you were told is part of the Elven Armada, is not in the colors of brown and blue like the other ships are. So that's kind of got you thrown for a loop at the moment. But Nori, you come across the words as Felnshara. Felnshara.
That is just a mess of letters. Do I know what it means?
You wouldn't. Neither would Saren.
Well, I tell everyone the name and just like, I have no idea what this means, but here's the ship name.
It also looks like it's written in Sylvan, but this is your translation, if it is Sylvan.
You said it wasn't in the Elven Armada colors. What colors is it?
The Elven Armadas is brown and blue. This ship, though, is black and green.
Not green and gold?
No, not every ship out there can be green and gold. I'm sorry. Kaporin.
Yes.
Give me a history check with disadvantage. Should have read more of your naval time book.
Kaporan like looks over at Nori and is like, I don't think we're gonna remember this name. Do you mind writing it down for me? As he pulls out the book that he kept in his component pouch so it wouldn't get all ruined, and he offers the little quill. Can you write?
Okay. I'll write the name just in the. I guess I just copy it down for what I see rather than the common translation.
All right.
And Kaporan will put that away for later use because
Hopefully, it
ships
survives against the water.
How is it
Yep.
spelled again?
Felnshara. At least that's the translation from the Sylvan writing.
Is a notebook too big to fit in my component pouch, even though it's watertight?
Notebooks, yeah. This isn't like
Because there was a little journal from the chest that we found.
Oh yeah, that
wasn't
journal was like, it's a journal.
Pretty big. Got it.
Yeah, it's meant to be read like a book.
Probably leave it in my bag on the boat or something.
Yeah, that's fine. If you would have thought it actually would have gotten destroyed, I could say you left it back. All right, so you guys are here. Now comes all the fun parts.
And the sun's almost set, correct?
The sun right now, you have about an hour and a half left. It's roughly about 4:30 right now.
So my suggestion would be for us to do some base exploring before it gets dark, and then we can rest overnight, possibly, and then I can set up spells so that Bryn and Racha can see better in the dark. And
No, go ahead.
no, yeah, go ahead.
Well, we definitely. I'm not sure how much use I will be. I had to leave my regular spellbook on land because it's not quite as waterproof as this new one. So I don't have access to most of my spells, including the hut that I'm usually able to pull up. So we'll have to be very careful of where we decide to rest.
We can rest underwater, technically. Sorry.
Racha's gonna, when Nori brings up the not seeing well, Racha's just gonna hold up his new ghost lantern. And he's like, I got a lantern.
Kaporan also you can cast dancing lights in the area, like within the area, and light up the area if we need to. But we'll probably keep that unless it gets really dark. Knowing Kaporan or knowing me, I'd kind of be like in the water already since I'm already kind of soaking wet, kind of just exploring around the ship. At least the part where we're currently stationed at. So it's just like kind of going up and down the already submerged area.
Yeah, I say we just jump in and get to work.
Saren's probably. Oh yeah, never mind.
Racha would first look around on the boat we're anchored to. Is it just floating in the water, or are we like atop a rock or sandbar?
It looks like this. If you didn't know any better and from a far distance away, it almost looks like this rock has become part of the other half of the ship. But you can see that connects down to a much scragglier portion of rock that reaches down in between coral and connects to the actual ocean floor itself. It's almost like randomly out in the middle of this area, a spire of rock has formed directly upwards and just punctured the back end of this ship.
That doesn't sound worrying at all.
Yeah, that totally sounds natural.
Yeah, sounds good and safe. I'm totally confident about us being here.
Before everyone except for Kaporin gets off the ship, since he already said he was.
Well, he's been off the ship the entire time, pretty much.
Do you all think we should try and explore the top half while we're here? I believe Qatar mentioned that he already did half of it, but he may have left something behind he viewed as unimportant if it wasn't on the list.
Rajah's already stealthed away to do that.
I mean, I would agree. I don't, but it might be something maybe if we have time afterwards, since we're on such a tight schedule, and we're sort of working with different abilities compared to Qatar. We might, if we have time afterward, we could search. But I think we should focus on the things we're supposed to get first, or at least try to.
Yeah, because we only have so much time at the moment, and I am low on spells.
Well, I'd actually like to bring up another point. Given that we very likely won't be able to immediately retreat, given the location of the bottom half of the ship, maybe we should rest beforehand, because if we can't find a safe spot right away, we might not be able to. And given how low most of us are on spells, that sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Let's scout and then figure out what we're doing from there.
Just look at what's going on down there. Just don't actually enter. And then, are we able to tell how deep it is where this fire that randomly came up?
If something is down there, do you think we'd honestly be able to outswim it? If we're noticed, it's going to end in a fight.
Perception check, Bryn.
Well, if something noticed us, they probably noticed us already, since we were moving on something that's see-through. But if I think Nori's the only one that's short on spells, if she's okay with us scouting, then I think that it would be helpful before we get like interrupted resting.
Absolutely.
Bryn,
Are you short on spells, Saren?
Not as much as Nori, but a little. I did cast tongues on both myself and Bryn when we were.
I think we'll be okay. Let's figure out where we stand, and then we can wing it from there.
So, Bryn, looking down, you lose it into the darkness. I mean, with it already being later on in the day, you don't have great visual acuity down underwater. But you can assume by how big it starts to expand that it's going to get larger, but it goes all the way down probably. And case in point for everyone as they're looking underwater and whatnot, you guys aren't seeing the bottom. And even though you technically already passed the other half of the ship, you can't even see that anymore either. Luckily, because Rashi rolled so high that she was able to even catch it as she was going over the top of it.
You muted yourself.
Better? It was only because Rashi rolled so high that she was even able to see it as you guys went over the top of it. But from where you guys are at this portion of the ship, you can't see anything as far as just looking down or even just dunking your head underwater. You're probably going to have to go down to investigate further.
Or, just to double check, Val, my speed is essentially 10 in water, right?
Yeah, buddy.
Okay. Well, Warren's underwater if anyone needs him.
He's like, I'm gonna go ahead and get a head start going down there and just start slowly sinking.
You just see the dancing lights like floating around, so you kind of know where Kaporn is, but you don't really know where he is.
Could I potentially just turn into a shark and have him grab onto my fin so he can go at a reasonable speed?
Let me check it.
Aquaman?
The
Aquaman?
creature
Uh,
is medium.
I really wish I learned light as one of my cantrips, but I did not, and I have to wait until I level to learn it. So sorry, everyone.
You're good. My lantern will essentially be that spell, is what it will end up being.
I mean, I can cast Sacred Flame, but that's not how that spell works, so it's not really going to provide a lot of light for a long time.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna need dancing lights too.
And the
As-
only spell I have that. Oh, sorry.
No, I was gonna say, as a giant shark, yes, you could pull Kaporin. He is under your weight threshold.
I can't turn into. I can only turn into a reef shark. That's Moon Druid.
Oh, okay. What's reef shark strength?
Reef shark strength is. +2, 14. So I'm guessing that is a no.
It'll slow you down.
Ugh.
Well, technically, it'd make him double speed, but it would slow you down.
It'd slow me down to half, so I'd be at 20, but he'd be with anything
But it,
marginally faster.
but yeah, so it would slow you down to 20, and technically, it'd raise him to 20.
And it'd still technically be faster than the rest of us, so.
That is true. Everyone else is at 15. Yeah, I'll do that then.
Everybody else, you could take at your full speed, though.
All right.
But yeah,
I'll do
once
that.
underwater, already investigating the general area of where they've docked for the time being, until everyone else jumps in.
Okay,
I
so
want to
is
turn-
everybody going down? Rachel, sorry. You, the front half of the ship, as you're currently picking it over, trying to see anything. The only thing that you actually find looks like 4 skulls of some humanoid individual, possibly elvish, possibly human, but no larger than a human skull. You find what looks to be broken pieces of blades at some point, but are just, chipped pieces of metal now, technically. And just a lot of moss and sea overgrowth, a lot of mussels, and seems that the tides raise and lower at some point. And a portion of this was probably underwater for a decent amount of time before water levels dropped. And a reef was starting to form on this part of the ship, but since it now is exposed to air, that has died off, and portions of it still exist in here, but most of it has crumbled away.
Rachel would bring back the skulls just to be like, this is all that's in there to everybody else.
John just comes back holding 4 humanoid skulls. Just, I found this.
What's up with
Even
this
better
charm
if he's
fight?
holding them through their eye sockets.
I imagine he's holding them like in his arms, a little, kind of like they're eggs, and they look a little bit like eggs when he rocks back. And then he shows them all to you one at a time, and it grosses you out a little bit.
Rashi just kind of shrugs, like, they're staying on the raft, Richa. We can't take them with us right now.
He puts them on the perch and sits on them.
He's a skull king.
He's practicing for when he gets back to his Kenku folks.
See him sit on it, kind of wiggle his butt a little bit to get in a comfortable position, and then
It's his bedding material for tonight.
Gotta get
We're
used
gonna
to
come back. Sorry.
all right. So is everyone going in?
Yep, Rashi
Yep.
follows where Kaporin kind of went, sort of.
Is slowly floating down.
Yeah, I think I'll turn into a shark. That way I get a little bit of blind sight and I can breathe underwater. I would turn into a dolphin, but then I need to keep going up. Wait a second. If I'm a dolphin and I have water breathing, does that cancel out my need to go up to the surface?
I believe since it's wild-shaped dolphin, yes.
Wait, so yes, I can do dolphin and breathe underwater, or
I
no?
believe so. Since your wild shape, since your body is basically changing, but it's you keep all your stats. Technically, the water breathing is on you. If it was polymorph, then no. But since this is a wild shape, I would say yeah, you can.
Then absolutely, I'm turning into a dolphin, baby.
What's their strength?
Nori is a magical animorph.
Yes. Are they equally strong? Yeah, and they're the exact same as, or same strength as a shark. Just faster and better blind sight.
Okay, so there you go.
Horn's riding a dolphin. Yay!
A nori dolphin.
Yep.
Okay, so are you going
Okay,
to try and take people down one at a time, or are you going to go more for everyone's going down at their own speed and you kind of help people along as you can?
I think I'll be helping people along as I can.
Okay, and are you, as a group, are you wholly kind of staying to the pillar and going down first, or are you guys spreading out? What's the game plan?
Is one of us gonna stay here, or are we all going?
Rashi would stay near the pillar, but kind of trying to go where she knows she saw the boat, other piece of the ship, but like trying to stay with the pillar because you said the pillar kind of follows along from like the ship to the other piece, right? Or at least from what we could tell.
The pillar goes straight down. It just comes out of the back of this portion of the ship that's jutting out of the water.
Oh, okay. So it's not like a coral reef pillar where like you can follow it to like the other part of the ship.
No, this is just this isn't even reef. This is rock. Like this is solid material, and it just juts out directly from underneath and seems to impale this part of the ship that's above water.
Oh, then Rashi would start swimming at an angle, like towards the where she saw the piece of ship, unless someone stops her and tells her that's the wrong direction.
We're just exploring in general at the moment.
Okay, so you guys are going down. Everyone get perception checks.
Those with dark vision get any sort of bonuses, or is it just a straight up perception?
You guys aren't far down enough yet. None of you guys brought any sort of rocks or material to weigh you guys down. So besides Nori, you guys are slow go. It's going to get real difficult getting towards the bottom.
I don't know how long people are going to go out for. I'm going to have Bryn stay back because she's worried about the raft.
Are you going to stay underwater around the raft, or actually staying on top?
She'll hang out in the water until she can see them or not see them anymore, and then go back up just to see if she can keep an eye on the surface. And then once it gets darker, she can use her sword kind of as a beacon of this is where the raft is.
Okay, and your sword works underwater, by the way.
Oh, it does.
It's magic fire.
Does people with dark vision get any sort of perception bonus on this check? Or...
Not this one, no. You guys still have light, and it's as far down as you are right now, it's still easily visible. It's more of once you start to get down 3/4 of the way is the darkness sets in. This is more of just seeing your overall surroundings, seeing what's around you, keeping eyes on each other, and trying to go in rough directions of where you want to go. Okay. So, moving around this rock pillar that juts out from the water, gets larger, continues going down. You see, by the time you guys have gone down about 150 so feet, it is starting to get pretty massively wide. From everyone's perspective, you guys can guess that just 100 feet down or so, it's probably like 300 feet wide already. Like, it is very umbrella-esque and starts to flatten out intensely underwater, iceberg. Rashi, as you're going off towards the other ship, you got a good idea of where it was when you first crossed over it. So it's not too hard for you to kind of relocate yourself with the raft and make sure you're going in the correct direction. You still don't see it, but you have a pretty good intuition that you're going in the correct way. Racha, who are you with? Are you off by yourself, or are you sticking near anybody?
I'd probably split the difference if Nori was like lining the spire and Rashi was going out. I would probably split the difference and have a light between my lantern already going, just so that there's like a both of them can mark me between the two of the kind of thing as we expand out a little bit.
And Saren, with the circle being where the spire and the top half of the ship is, which direction would you roughly want to be going?
Okay. Given that we're in an unfamiliar environment, safety in numbers, so I'm probably right in between Rashi and Racha, closer to Racha though.
Okay. Now, with this round of perception checks, Racha really being the only one to understand this, it looks like the ocean floor is probably a good 2,000 feet down. You guys have traveled out here pretty far, and you're seeing just little bits of bioluminescence kind of creep across the floor, showing up here or there, giving you an idea of where the floor actually is. Looks like some of this, some of the floor seaweed and coral might be bioluminescent in nature. So this is as the sun is not completely down yet, this is a good indication. So you guys have a way to go, and I'm just giving you guys ideas of distance for everything. So, you guys have traveled about 200 feet or so. Nori and Kaporan, you guys are a little bit further at about 300. And going down in your guys' respective directions. Everyone want to keep going in the same directions that they're going now?
I think,
Rashi would make her way back to Bryn to let her know like how far down we have to go and how slow it is to get there. She would motion to Rashi or to Racha and Saren as she like swims back by them, because they would have they would have seen the same thing. So it might be good to like reconvene.
Yeah, I think after seeing how deep it is, reconvene with everyone, just kind of check in. Drag Corparan back up.
Are we able
I guess we're
to?
going all up.
Are we able to communicate, like actually speak with each other while we're underwater?
Yeah.
Alright, I wasn't sure exactly.
But Racha has to use dolphin noises.
Yeah,
Which he's heard a lot of, so.
Nori speaks, so I can start mimicking him.
Nori makes dolphin noises.
So now Racha has a wide range of dolphin noises. and some
That's
that
gonna come in handy.
And some that he heard from the actual dolphins. And as he says them, Nori, you realize that he's like talking shit about people's moms and such. But in
Mentally
dolphin,
to Richa. I'm like, the dolphins, they gossip.
He's probably gonna start using it as his laughter whenever he needs to laugh at something.
which is a specific phrase, is like a yo mama joke. So every time you laugh, you're saying a yo mama joke.
Awesome. But yeah, if everybody thinks it's time to head back up, he'd start heading back with them as well.
Once Rashi would tell Bryn this, Rashi, did you notice how far down? Was it the same, I guess, distance down when we were over the other half? or was it shallower?
What was that?
When we passed it, and you said you saw the boat, and we decided to come back, were you able to tell about how far down it was? Was it kind of like how this one is caught on a rock, or was it down at the bottom?
For Rashi and the whole glass boats of it all, it kind of creates a convex lens, so it gave a brief magnification as they were going over. So depth wise, I mean, Rashi would just be like, "It was there." I can't tell you how deep it was, but it was there.
Kaporan, oh god, without Nori, Kaporan's going to go so slow. He probably didn't feel like it necessary to come back to Bryn. So he's kind of just slowly working his way down. Just keep swimming.
So slow.
How long did it take us to swim that 200 feet?
At your guys' speed, about a couple minutes.
When we get to that back to the
Except
boat,
for Bryn. Bryn, you and I believe Rashi actually drop a little heavier because of your armors.
Well, Bryn was on the raft, so she didn't swim at all.
Well, she said she was going underwater just to scout the spire, and then she was coming back up.
Yeah, I would have just stayed in the area until I noticed you guys were out anywhere, and then went back up. As soon as you guys were out of my sight, I would have been back up.
Okay, I didn't hear what the number was you said, because my internet sucks today.
well,
It
minutes,
was
he said.
2,000.
When we get back to the ship, can Saren look around for anything heavy that will sink?
Make an investigation check. In the actual ship portion itself, there's nothing specifically, like there's no cannonballs or anything for you to take. But, I mean, there's the rock. You can try and chip off large portions of the spire and use that to go down if you'd like. Because it's not coral, it's not reef, so it's actually solid rock, so it's decently heavy.
Like an
I'll-
anchor to sink us?
Yeah, to get
I'll
you down faster.
probably take like a minute to try and chip at it with my dagger, but unless it comes off easily, I'm not going to spend much time trying. Not very strong.
Make a strength check.
Yeah, I'm not spending much time.
That's about right. Trying to go at it with just your dagger, you're not really making any solid headway that time-wise would be beneficial. Like if you guys were camping and, starting your 8-hour rest, you might be able to slowly but surely get something off decently for yourself. But as far as like right now trying to instantly do it, it's not happening.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Well, he's using a dagger. What if he used a different weapon?
I mean, my strength score still sucks no matter what weapon I use.
Yeah, but with a dagger, the AC of that rock is pretty high.
Noticing what Saren's doing, Rashi's gonna try and smash some bits off with her bludgeoning mace.
Okay, go ahead and give me a strength check.
And from here, the pillar shattered, and the ship from above.
Can Nori kind of swim around? Since I'm so much faster, can I swim around and just kind of do, I don't know, echolocate, see if I can find anything interesting?
Sure, you start doing the Racha laughter. It's not called dolphin noises anymore. It's called Racha laughter.
Yes.
So you start going around the spire. How far down do you want to go?
Maybe only about 100 feet. I don't want to go too far without the rest of the group, but when again, safety in numbers, I don't want us to do a giant split the party.
Okay, just echolocating, 100 feet down underneath where you guys are at, just kind of circling around the spire.
Yep.
I mean, it's solid rock. You do catch some little like burr holes every now and again, where it looks like either some creature has tried digging its way a little bit inside to create a cove, or maybe naturally, water-wise, current running into it has started to cut into the rock a bit. But other than that, it's just, I mean, you're catching fish and you're catching, other sea life around you, but nothing is pinging specifically off your echolocate.
Okay.
Rashi, you bring out your mace kind of as Saren's like stabbing the rock with his dagger. You kind of just like walk up next to him and just start smacking the crap out of the rock next to him, like sending little shards into his face, and he's kind of like blocking it, and like Stink Eye still going with the dagger a little bit. With just the mace, you are shattering pieces of rock, but not getting like a solid chunk to help drag you down.
Okay.
Might need to use a combination of a precision weapon and a bludgeoning weapon, like a hammer and chisel.
I wonder what
something you would have with like smith's tools.
Yeah.
That Rashi would have on her. Because
Possibly.
she has smith's tools.
I think he means the mace and the dagger, but that sounds like putting my hands in the danger zone.
Or like smith tools, which are meant for ironworking, but they still work on
mace
stone.
A mace also has pointy ends, so that would like not work with the dagger.
Not every mace. Some maces back in the day were smooth. But it'd still be funny to watch compare. It'd be funny to watch Saren's hand just get smashed.
No more spells.
Okay, so if you have smith's tools, how does that work with smith's tools? Then
you would
you
would roll a d20, add your proficiency modifier and your dex modifier.
In this time, Kaporn
You said proficiency in dex?
Yeah. Go ahead, Kaporn.
Is there anyone else with smith's tools that could help, or is this just like a solo check?
This is a solo thing, and no one else has smith's tools. Carpentry tools won't help, Rashad, just FYI. Go ahead, Kaporn.
Kaporn is the slow turtle, or the slow... Yeah, he's like a little turtle. Slow turtle as he is.
Turtles are fast in the water.
Oh, okay. So we're a snail in the water.
Sea slug.
Sea slug in the water. We are just slowly working our way down to a good 500 feet in depth.
Are you gonna? Oops. Are you gonna hug the rock spire, or are you going off in a direction?
Knowing where we came from, Kaporn is gonna ride the spire down to that 500 depth, and then when he feels like he's hit a decent depth, he's gonna peel off and swim straight to where it was.
Okay, so I got a 19 on my roll. That 3 was being stupid. That I didn't add anything on that one.
Okay. With a 19, you're able to work into the rock a bit, but it's going to take some time to get like a decent, heavy enough chunk to actually make a difference. So again, this, especially if you're trying to get one for everybody, this might be more of a situation to try and do maybe after a long rest, or during a long rest, like on your watch or something. Because it's probably going to take about an hour or so to get a piece for everybody that would be beneficial. Or you could just sit there and start doing it while everyone else starts scouting stuff.
Yeah, I think Nori's going to go swim down.
Kaporn, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay.
Wow.
And you said you have your dancing lights with you, right, Kapoor?
Yeah, yes, dancing lights are with me.
Are you keeping them all with you, or are you sending some out?
One's with me to illuminate me and just kind of my location. The other three are at what is it, 120, 30, 60, 90 feet out, just kind of in a zigzag pattern in front of me.
Okay, and you don't have dark vision, right?
I believe I do. Let me
Yeah,
just
he's a
double check.
half elf.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think they do. Then
I don't know. Let
It's
me
just Bryn and I that don't.
We have dark vision, but we see shades of gray up to 60 feet.
Okay, that would be extended past your available light. And dancing lights is 30 feet of dim light around each one, or bright light?
I dropped it in the. Let me just see. 4 torches appear, lanterns glowing or air. You can combine the 4 lights.
Okay, so it's
Torch-sized lights.
no, it's dim light in a 10-foot radius. Okay, so I mean, at least stretching them out that distance still gives an overall like view in those directions, and you're kind of like probably rotating them around yourself in a distant pattern, but kind of circling around you so you get a full view. Kaporan, as you're down about 500 feet or so, slowly descending, actually going faster just by letting yourself slowly go down rather than trying to swim, because that's how slow you are right now. You end up starting to see things moving across the bottom, just random sea life going. But you're starting to get a better idea of what the actual seafloor looks here. As you get to about the 450 foot down, you're like, oh, wait, Rashi was incorrect. There's the ship. It's right here. Like, there's the other half of the ship. It's literally right at the bottom. I can see it at the base. And then you get about 460 feet down. Wait, there's another one. You get 480.
No.
There's
Son of a.
There's 2 more. You get to your 500 feet. And as you're down about 500 feet, kind of clinging onto the side of the rock, you look in front of you and you see a massive ship graveyard that just stretches, and different colors, different contraptions. Looks like they've been here different lengths of years. All, interestingly enough, none of them are on top of each other. They are all in their own space, pointed around the bottom of this, to the point where you can barely see sand in between them.
Like someone parked them there, kind of thing.
Almost, but this is complete destruction of ships. Half ships, full ships, ships of different size, some upside down, some right side up, some jutting out from the sand, some pointed in. It is just a mishmash conglomeration of different types of ships and graveyard that is down here. But it looks very tightly, almost neatly packed.
Looking around, do I see the same colors of...
Well, you're still too far away to get colors, and with your dark vision, you see only in shades of gray. So even then, it would be very difficult for you to kind of pick one out of all of these here. It's just, I mean, they're different colors because your dark vision is giving you multiple different shades of gray across all these things. So, and also they look different. So, they're not at least like copies of the same ship, just multiplied or anything like that. But with your nat 20 on that perception check, you really can see that, like, it's very awkward that no ship is on top of itself, and they're all so neatly packed. You're getting the very strong vibe that these are almost placed. And not placed like, oh, I am trying to fool everyone to try and hide my true wealth and put fake ones around, or something like that. It's not an illusion, because you're seeing fish come into contact with the actual holes and wreckage itself. It almost looks, and as you start to peer down, and you're starting to see different shades of gray of the sand you're like, wait. And you kind of do the math in your head and look around. And as far as you can see, you're seeing ships everywhere. It almost looks like every ship that is here is being translocated here somehow, as if some sort of magic, or if they had cranes back in the day, that's what you would assume they had, because even the sand around the ships looks like it comes from different places. So it almost looks like possibly like a teleportation spell gets used that relocates these sunken ships to this specific area. Putting that methodology together, that possibility with what Qatar does, and how Qatar can find such rarest things in the world that only he can do, you're putting it together that he has a line in on sunken ships around the world and probably has some sort of magic that can move sunken ships here, where he can access them that pretty much no one else can. This is like you've walked into his vault, and, or better yet, you walked into his garage and you see all of his antique cars that he's restoring.
Okay. Kaporin surprisingly did math in his head.
Luckily, it wasn't actual math.
Definitely. Kaporin, before he heads back up to tell the group this, he wants to see if the ship that they're looking for, or the half they're looking for, is maybe directly under them. Just assuming, like, okay, if knowing that each of these ships are placed in a certain area, then the ship we're looking for must be nearby because the other half's right above us, kind of thing. So he's going to assume that the ship we're looking for is directly below us, and kind of just wants to go close enough to where he could possibly get an idea of, oh yeah, this is the other half, kind of thing.
Okay, so I can say that you continue your foray down to the bottom of the ocean floor. Like I said, it's going to be about 2,000 feet, so you're only about a quarter of the way there. So you just keep swimming down. But during this time, you all are accompanied together back up on near the raft.
Have no clue where Kaporin is right now.
Just like, where did he go?
Saren's dream is coming true right now.
Did he swim down by himself?
You just felt him let go at some point when you were a shark.
Oh, I'm a dolphin.
Dolphin.
Yeah, I think he went down by himself. Should we go follow him? I don't want him to get hurt, even if Saren does.
I didn't say any of that out loud.
You don't have
written
to.
on your
You shot a fire thing at him last time and hurt his hand. You clearly want him hurt in some way. So if he managed to disappear down there, I don't think you would be too sad.
Plead the fifth.
Are we having an in-character interaction right now?
I thought we were.
I mean, I was talking in character, so yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna go down and find him. If any of you want to come with me, you can. But I don't want to leave this guy down
You're still
here by
dolphin
himself.
form?
Yeah.
So you're talking to one person.
Yes, I'll be talking to Rashi. Oh wait, I don't think I've done this to her.
Nope.
Whoops.
You just randomly get a voice in the back of your head that sounds like Nori Rashi, and she just starts talking to you.
I saw her turn into a dolphin, right? So I'm just like, okay, apparently she can talk in people's minds as a dolphin.
Exactly what it is, yes.
I totally
Does
forget,
anybody
and I
else hear her
don't
do that, or
explain.
she's just talking to Rashi?
She's just talking to you. She can only do it with one person at a time.
Yep.
Okay. So Nori's in my head, and she said that she's gonna follow Kaporin because he's quite far down. Uh, so I think we have to follow her so we don't split up.
I think we're a bit past the splitting up part.
I can go down with her if nobody else wants to.
Oh, well, I'll go down. I just wanted you all to know she was talking in my head. Does she do that normally?
But when she turns into an animal, yes, it's the only way she
You
can
should have
continue.
said no.
Yeah, oh well.
That'd have been
I'm
way
not-
better.
No,
Oh.
you're special.
Yeah. See, this is why Rashi only listens to what Bryn says.
She responded before I could pick a Racha saying,
I'm in real life. I'm so afraid of deep water. This is terrifying. Nori's not. Nori's fine. I'm not. So let's go.
Oh yeah, no, I am too. Deep water terrifies me, and I'm very visual and imaginative. So underwater D&D campaigns scare the crap out of me. That's why I said last time I would just let it crack and eat me at that point. I'm like, okay, bye, have fun.
Pretty much. All right, I'm
And
swimming down.
your DM's a
if-
sailor, so.
Oh, if I can't touch the ground in the water, I don't go past where I can touch the ground.
All right, so we got Nori and Rashi going down to get to Kaporin. Rachas, Aaron?
Racha would probably go down too, just because he wants to see how his lantern works.
Do we know if he went straight down the spire, or did we just think he's off floating God knows where?
Can they technically see my light, even though because I'm in the darkness basically, and
They could see it up to about 500 feet. Now that you're starting to get into the darkness, they're starting to get overwhelmed. I mean, they only shed light for 10 feet around you, and it's dim light at that as well. So with water refraction and how light works underwater, you're not really visible. They probably see your other 3 lights just randomly fucking spinning throughout the water and can probably slowly guide that back to you. Nori doesn't really have a problem getting to you because she's got echolocate. So she sees the 6'6" man in the water slowly just bloop, bloop, going down.
Racha
I
is
mean,
trying to
Rashi has
echolocate
dark
as well.
vision.
Just trying to echolocate as well.
All you keep
No.
hearing, Nori, is fuck your mom, fuck your mom, fuck your mom, as Racha is just going on with the dolphin noises and just and you kind of like echolocate and like side eye as a dolphin over at Racha, and as you're echolocating, you're like, oh, there's dolphins nearby, and all the dolphins have left.
Best part is that dolphins actually do gossip about each other. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. Dolphins are little shitheads.
I'm like the weirdest looking dolphin I've ever seen. My bottlenose is triangular shape and everything.
It's like a penguin that has been like around dolphins too long and thinks it's one of them. All right.
if we find a puffer fish, we need a puffer pass.
So you guys are heading down. By this time, Kapoor, you're reaching roughly about 700 feet. You go slow, and the other group is... Well, Nori catches up to you pretty quickly, but the rest are coming down in their due time. Bryn, you're staying with the raft, right?
Knowing that he's closer to the spire, I'll go down the spire, but definitely staying close to it so I know which way it's up.
Okay, I was going to say you're finally enjoying some peace and quiet, but if you want to continue on, that's fine.
I mean, it was, a couple minutes is nice.
So down you all go. Nori catching up with Kaporin and you catch up with him pretty quickly, and even before you catch up with him, you can mentally, connect with him. You gotta like constantly just kind of like tune Racha out though, as he's just cursing, like you wouldn't believe. Mainly because when one curse, the other one cursed back at him, so he's just replaying like conversations that, and these weren't like cool dolphins that are just like ribbing with each other. These are like little essay dolphins. They're like, yeah man, fuck you, fuck your mom, no fuck your mom, and he's just going super hard with it, and it's unnerving a little bit. You got to block it out. It takes a lot of willpower, but luckily your wisdom's pretty high, so you're able.
Am I able to see pretty well?
With your lantern, yeah, you actually get a good distance out from you. Those with dark vision can see down and are more easily able to pick out the Rashi. You looking down for Kapoor, and you can see his lights. You don't see him too well until you get closer, but you can see his lights without a problem with your dark vision. But as you guys are going down, Kaporin, you being about 700 feet till Nori catches up with you, you're seeing that this graveyard probably goes on for, well, it at least goes on for as far as you can see. And no space is not taken. So everywhere is full. It's packed in. As far as your 180 degrees of vision, as you're looking out from with your back to the spire, it is full of shipwrecks. So there isn't like dotted little areas of no ship. Like there are just, it's packed in. So you get the idea that these probably have all been gone through. He probably brought these in here first and has already sold their wares or traded. And if he's working on anything now, he's probably working on something new. So it's probably near the edge of whatever this graveyard is. But Nora, you catch up with Kaporin.
Do we all come to that conclusion?
You guys are on your way down. He's already 700 feet down. You guys are moving on your way down.
Well, this is unsettling.
Yeah, Nora, as you get down and you're echolocating, you're picking up a lot of this. With your echolocate, you can't tell what it is, but as you get closer and can see it, now you're starting to put it together. And echolocate goes for how far? I mean,
it's only 60 feet.
Because I know realistically it's like fucking 3 miles or something stupid like that. But so
game-wise, it's 60.
Okay, I'll split the difference and probably give you like maybe like 1,000 feet.
I'll take it.
1,000 feet of like general stuff. Obviously, if you're trying to like fine-tune pick stuff up, then it'll be 60 feet. But just general, like kind of like a bat getting their surroundings, it'd be about 1,000 feet. So you're starting to feel the tips of all the shipwrecks.
I can't wait until we go to a cave and the Charles starts mimicking a bat.
Just need to give him all the animal noises.
He'll just stick to the dolphin noises.
He's probably going to learn how to say "fuck your mom" and "bat" too.
He knows how to
Should I teach Rashad to say "fuck the fucking queen"?
You didn't need to fuck the queen to get something like that.
There we go.
As Kaporin notices that Nori pops up next to him, he's like, "Oh, hi," and he's like, "Yeah, I've been down here for a little bit now, and this looks like it goes on for a while."
Yeah, as far as I can tell, this thing is huge, and it's gonna be whatever we're looking for is gonna be on the edge. Damn, it's gonna take forever.
Yeah, these have been definitely brought here by a magical means. I think we better, if we don't work now, it's gonna be a while before we find what we're looking for down here.
Exactly. My only worry is that I've been lost at sea once. I don't want to do it again. So keeping our bearings here is going to be important. And us sticking together is going to be important.
I mean, group-wise, I was still near the group, just below the group.
I
Just
don't know if that
multiple
makes it
minutes
better.
away. Yeah, sure.
He's just like, stay here, and I'm going to get everyone out.
Kapoor's like, stay here. Okay, so he in the general here, it's the column of water he's in, and he's just moving down the column.
Video game logic. Stay here at this one point, but up and down is fine.
But Kaporin, knowing that they're trying to find him now, kind of collects the lights together to kind of illuminate himself. And so everyone can see where Kaporin is and that he's worked his way down so far.
Mini Rave
so
got it.
Now just the lights are just spinning around him like
Going on and off. Nori comes up, talks to everyone. Hey, there's a seizure warning down there. Just FYI.
Rachaw's trying to do Morse code with his lantern back to the whatever's going on down there.
Which is great because you just talk to your ghost friend and say, hey, say this. And it does it in Morse code.
Do any of us understand Morse code?
Nope.
Rachaw doesn't even know what Morse code is.
Nope. He knows thieves can't. So thieves can't is Morse code.
Oh. I guess Rachel has to teach us some thieves can't Morse code later.
He knows fuck your mom.
The lantern just keeps flashing.
I mean, I can technically say any of my phrases that I know in any of the languages I know. They just are. They have to stay the phrase.
Yep.
It's just fuck the queen. But yeah, so knowing Kaporin just like, okay, he's gonna be that kind of brain and just be like, I'm just gonna keep thinking here. He's not gonna try to keep himself from staying in that one location.
Oh
But
no, gravity, it sucks. It's pulling me down. Sorry, Nori.
I was gonna go grab Racha because he's the lightest and has a light. So just pull him down real fast, go back up, grab Rashi or Bryn and go back down, go back up. Just speed things along.
After a
bit.
few moments, you get everyone down.
We have this conversation where Kaporin explains that the time zones and that this is all magical, that they're brought here, and that we're probably gonna have to go to the edge of this stupid thing to find what we're looking for, etc., etc. Wait, did Qatar say that it's the ship that's above us that we're looking for the other half specifically? I don't remember if that. Okay.
He just said he was working on half a ship, and he's got to do the other half.
Yeah, he just pointed out at like the ship that we docked the glass raft on and said, "I'm working out that way," but he didn't specify the other half of the ship. So it could be totally unrelated to the one that we docked the raft on.
Yeah, so Kaporin's like, well, we gotta figure out where he left off and pick up there. Most likely, if we can find the ship that looks the newest, that would be the best.
I'm not sure any of these crash ships look that new.
They're going to be on the edge,
Well,
anywhere.
Well, we have 3 directions to look, right? Because obviously where we came from probably wouldn't have the newest ships. It would probably be farther out, maybe? So, like, we have forward, left, and back, but not the way we came. I don't know. What direction are we facing?
Val, looking at the ships, can Kaporin tell by the different shades and whatnot that these ships were placed in like a certain alignment? Like, oh, he was going down the row of this and then no?
No, unfortunately, it doesn't. I mean, just from the ships that you guys can start to see as you're slowly going down, because as Nori brings more people down to Kaporin's level, Kaporin's still sinking, so it's getting deeper and deeper, and you guys are about 1,000 feet down now. But looking around, some ships seem newer, some seem older. There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to how they're getting put here, but at least with your perception check when you're looking at them, you rolled pretty high. It almost looks like it's going out in a spiral from the spire.
We just gotta find the edge of the spiral.
But it gives you an idea that newer doesn't mean newer.
Got it.
It probably just means he came across or found out about that shipwreck sooner, or it had better bounty on it, and he wanted to go through it quicker. So it looks more of whatever he had, he brought when he knew it. So it's more not necessity, but more of availability than it was necessity. So
Got it.
Can we see the end of the spiral from where we are?
no,
It's too dark.
Can we
even
Can we
even those
follow it?
with dark vision, I mean, it looks like a spiral because that's how things are placed. You're not sure which direction the spiral goes in, whether counterclockwise or clockwise, and you're technically not even sure where it starts because the way that the rock's situated, and when it actually reaches the bottom, it kind of goes out into almost like a diamond shape. Not actual, but kind of in that rough shape. So you're not even sure where the start is, but you just see it kind of slowly, in a circular fashion, goes out. So it's almost like rings around this central pillar. But even those with dark vision, you guys can only see out about 700-800 feet when you get down to this level. And as it's getting darker, you're seeing less and less. And even then, 700 feet or so, it doesn't look like it's sparsing or getting thinner or ending anytime soon.
Maybe we should take residence in one of these sunken ships for tonight. And in the morning, when the sun has finally risen, we'll be able to search for what we're looking for.
I agree. I think we should head as far out as we can tonight before it gets dark, but I doubt we'll have any luck searching once it gets much darker.
With that agreement, Kaporan is going to continue to sink down to the point where about 50 feet above the ship's top, like the tall ship, and start to work his way away from the pillar.
Richard would actually be disagreeing, but I'm looking for the phrase that he wants to use.
Oh, okay. We'll wait for Richard to say something. When you only can use mimicry to speak.
I'm sorry, my sentiments are not the same.
Ooh, I understood that one.
What do you think, Richard? Do you think it's safe down here?
He's going. I don't think I have anything that would refer to it. He'd make the noise. He'd make the noise that the horses make whenever it's raining, and like that they hate it being cold.
Oh, that's true. It's going to be cold. Yeah, we might need to go up top because as soon as the sun goes down, it's going to get cold real fast, and when I stop being a dolphin, I'm going to get real cold.
You bring up a good point. We should probably start heading up now then and talk as we go.
Alrighty, onward and upward. Go Perrin, grab onto my fin, because there's no way you're getting up there quick enough.
Wait, can you blow bubbles with underwater? Wait, what's the spell called?
Water breathing?
Yeah, water breathing. Can you blow bubbles?
Technically, yes, but nowhere near as much as you would actually do.
I was
Like
gonna
with a
say-
full, because you don't have oxygen. I mean, basically, water breathing sucks the oxygen out of the water, so, and you use that to.
Might turn my backpack into a little balloon and just like whee.
Not quite.
Okay. Then Kaporan grabs.
I mean, she could just cancel the water breathing and send you all skyrocketing to the surface.
I just kill you all.
Oh no,
We all
sorry,
have-
sorry. That's water walk. If someone
walk.
casted water walk, it would send you to the top.
Oh, just get the bends and be just so terrible.
Don't you die from
Well,
the
actually,
bends?
you don't need the bends because, well, pressure. Yeah, pressure. You don't have internal pressure from the oxygen, so you'd be fine.
So we all make our way back to the top.
Okay.
Nori ferrying people to make sure it's a little bit faster.
Yeah, after about 20 minutes or so, everyone's back to the top, and Nora, you can get out of your wild shape form.
And how much time have we been out here now?
So you started going down and exploring at 4:30. Roughly, you're looking at about 5:20, 5:30. So you got about a little bit time before the sun's completely gone.
Or Cha is just off fluffing his feathers to get all the water out.
Nori jumps out of the water as a dolphin. Mid-jump, turns back into herself, nearly falls back into the water, and just sits down on the boat.
Yeah. Is there an area on top of the dry or the ship that's above water that we could settle on, or is it only the boat, our little boat that we have?
It's pretty much only the raft that you're on because the ship, the front half of the ship, is at like that. Hold on, there we go. It's roughly pointed up at that angle.
Okay.
Like if you go into the actual front half of the ship, kind of using it as a lean-to, there's a portion of the rock you could be on. It's only about 10 or so feet wide in all directions, and it's not flat whatsoever. You could use this if you wanted to, at least have protection from possible water from the tides. As night goes up, the tide rises. But it's your choice. There's room for you guys to be. Technically more room than the raft is, but the raft is at least flat.
Can the bird sleep on the roof?
No one owns this, so it's up to you.
I imagine the point. He's just been staring at the point of the.
You will be the
raised
hood
ship.
ornament to the ship. Yes, you
Exactly.
would be.
And he's bringing his 4 skulls up there, and we'll perch on the at the top of it.
I'm just imagining him as what's it called? The thing that's at the decorative thing at the front of the ship.
Yeah, the hood ornament.
There we go.
Actually, Racham, no one's noticed this, but as you get up to where this location is, there actually is already one. No one rolled high enough to see it as you guys were coming up, but as you kind of climb up the deck using the railings connectors as like a ladder, basically, kind of climbing your way up the side of it, you get to the front and you almost like stop and jump off as the large head of a oak cobra is just facing you as you get to the top. And for a moment you like freeze. It's that fight or flight moment in your stomach, and then you realize, oh, okay, that's what this is. And you kind of go up to it and push it, and it looks like it's snapped off and it's hanging to the side a little bit. So you move it and you can readjust it and put it back to where it originally was if you want to. But that looks like that's what the hood ornament for this one was some sort of carved out cobra face.
Well, if it was a cobra, it really is a hood ornament, isn't it?
But
I have no
I was gonna say I could like nestle into one of the little hoods, since it's laying flat essentially.
Oh, right now it's broken off from where it actually originally sits. But you could turn it back and like sit in it if you wanted to, because it's decently large. I mean, the whole thing altogether probably stretches out from edge of the hood to either side, about 8 or so feet.
Yeah, that'd probably be what he tries to do.
Okay, you'd probably need to bring out the carpenter's tools and kind of work on it if you'd really want to be safe up there. But It's definitely something you
Totally.
could do.
Totally what I will do. Yeah.
Okay.
Middle of the night, Richaw falls into the ocean.
Go ahead and give me a d20 with your dex and proficiency. All right. So you kind of get up there and place your skulls off to the side so they don't get ruined. And you kind of like look down at where the cobra body is, where it should connect, and start to get out your tools and align the hood up and start going to town at where it's connected. And it's just not sitting correctly, so you kind of have to like wiggle and like straddle the thing a little bit, you know. And as you guys look up, you just see Richard kind of straddling, and he goes back and like flips his hair as some like sea foam kind of crashes behind him, and as the sun's setting, and it's just a beautiful scene altogether. I want Pond to make that one. And as you kind of are sitting there in the cobra hood snaps back into place and almost seems to settle down, as if unlocking something. As you start to feel the pillar shake, you hear portions of wood creak. You hear things like grinding on one another and then like settling. You hear it multiple times, and you're just kind of like sitting up there, probably like, oh shit, what did I do when I'm trying to pull the cobra head back off where you just inserted it? Just like, no, but it's not coming loose.
I'll be like, oh dear. And then I'll sort of just yell out to everybody, like, I fucked up and almost died.
You guys have all started to feel and see the vibration, and different parts of the water you just start to see just jets of air seemingly getting shot up throughout the water. Nothing's come up yet. Nothing is floating on the water. You're not seeing anything, but in different locations all around you guys, stretching out for about 300 feet or so. And then, as you're standing there, Richan, everything seems to have gone quiet for a moment. The cobra starts moving in your hands, almost realistically. And you kind of look down at the cobra, and you see its tongue come out and kind of slap your face a little bit before retreating. The eyes kind of blink and glint and focus on you. You see it kind of furl its hood and then kind of suck it in. So if you've ever seen a cobra kind of hiss, it'll suck its hood in and then extend it once more to kind of give it more amplification. And you see and hear that, and as it does so, all of you guys who are on the rock in the ship, you guys all get launched forward into the floor of this ship, all with your faces and backs up against it, and then all of a sudden it seems like gravity changes, and as you try to get up, it feels like you're trying to stand up from being prone. And then you're like, why? And then all of a sudden you feel an impact, and you hear water. Racha, you see that as you're on the front end of the ship, as this cobra has come to life, the front half of the ship dislodges itself off the rock and sails, impacting the water as you hang on to this now lifelike cobra in front of you.
R2D2 noises are going crazy.
R2D2 and Fuck Your Moms and Dolphin are going off from Racha. As you're trying to hang on, your skulls just go splattering off into the water. And you're just like, no. But you guys inside now see that the front half of the ship that you're in now is in the water and is starting to fill with water. Quickly, you guys kind of get swept up in the little bit of whirlpool that happens from the suction getting pushed down as the ship's starting to sink. As you guys are starting to scramble and everyone's starting to get up, the water is now chest high for majority of you. Rashi, it's more like almost neck to chin. Is everyone, Nori and Rashi, you guys are both roughly neck to chin. as everyone else is freaking tall. Um, you guys starting to freak out and figure out what the hell is going on, because for you guys, just chilling there, and all of a sudden, ship's now in the water. But as you guys start to swim out to open water so you don't get crushed and taken down with this ship, you see a back half of a ship careening through the water, just like full power boat, just sailing in your guys' direction. And time wise, you guys quickly looking around. Oh fuck! Oh fuck! Oh, and you're not sure. Do you go out or do you go in? Which one you guys doing?
I'm gonna get back in the boat.
Yeah, staying in.
Yeah.
Yeah, staying in the ship.
Okay, so you guys kind of backpedal your way back into the front end of the ship, just as this other half of the ship is just barreling towards you. And just a few seconds later, it's going at tremendous speeds that you guys have never seen before, because there are no such things as engines yet in this world. But it's hauling. And then as it comes to you guys, it impacts the front half of your ship, sending you guys from this plane to now this, where you guys were standing there, and now you're all on your backs as the front half of the ship is now started to dip down into the water just from the impact of the crash. As it kind of, you guys are pirouetted like this, and then it settles back down. The ship has magically put itself together. The water is draining out from somewhere as you guys stand now with the water completely gone in a completed ship. You're floating, and all you hear is Richa freaking out outside.
Probably dangling from the snake's tongue or something on the end, like, ah.
And it's hard to hang on to because the whole body of the snake moves and wriggles as well. It's not biting you, but it moves.
If we look up there, we see the
You
cobra.
guys are inside.
Kaporin immediately.
You guys are inside the hull of the ship.
What did Richa do?
I'm gonna go to the surface then.
Yeah, I feel like we're just gonna try to make
Yep.
our way up.
Yep, there's stairs that lead up and stairs that lead down.
Up.
You guys seem to be in some sort of
Actually-
middle deck.
From yeah, not that I would know. But given that the ship is of elven make, supposedly, would I know in general where the captain's quarters would be?
All ships that you've encountered, the captain's quarters are usually up top.
In the front or the back of the ship?
Back, underneath the helm.
I'm gonna start heading there.
Kaporin's going to the base.
So as everyone goes up top, Kaporn goes down.
You know, of course.
Why not?
Well, technically, I never said where Rashi was going. Technically, so she's just kind of standing there watching everyone walk different directions. And
I'm pretty sure everyone's running.
Well, like,
let's be safe.
Yeah.
Well,
Can
what?
Richa, like, sorry.
Everyone's probably running in their directions.
Okay. Well, she's still watching everyone kind of go in their different directions. She's gonna follow Kaporin because even though he's really tall, she knows that he might need the physical fighting protection.
You're not wrong.
What were you saying, Richard?
Can Richa like kind of try and climb onto the back of the head of the snake, or?
It's still moving and it has almost full rotation, so you could try, but it might not like you being there.
Yeah, I'm just sort of like gonna be talking to it the best I can, being like, "Hi, Shara," and then gonna start trying to climb up it to just say, "Still kicking, I guess."
Okay. Go ahead and give me. Yeah, give me an acrobatics check with disadvantage. You trying to rodeo this cobra?
I wasn't really trying to rodeo it. I was trying to just sort of like get onto its head so then I could get onto the top of the ship would be what I was trying to do. I wasn't trying to like tame it.
Gotcha. Well, as you say that and start to climb around and grabbing it and getting on top, the cobra kind of just keeping eye contact with you as you do so. And as soon as you get to like behind it, it quickly like sucks in its hood, so you have like no purchase anymore. And then it kind of just headbutts you off into the water.
And you just hear dolphin noises as I go.
Fuck your mom! You take 3 points of bludgeoning damage, impacting the water.
Would somebody be coming up to that deck where we can see this happen? So we can try to
It's a hood ornament. Where do you think he's not in visual range? You can hear it.
Do we hear the dolphin?
You hear the dolphin
the
noises.
dolphin noise. Run towards the dolphin noises.
Okay. So as Kaporin and Rashi are heading down, and you guys are heading up the stairs, almost at the same time, you all get a very cold chill running throughout all of your bodies, except for Richa. As everyone kind of feels the chill, and it sucks the life out of you quickly. You're just like, ooh, and like it just stops everyone in their steps, kind of looking around, as everyone had the same phenomenon at the same time. Probably you guys at the base of the stairs, and Rashi and Kaporin just starting to go down. You guys all looking at each other like, what was that? And looking around, you start to see figures walking across the decks, carrying barrels, carrying supplies, boxes, crates. All of it very incorporeal as they start moving across the decks. But as they're moving, they're slowly becoming thicker and thicker. They start off as almost mist, but as they continue to move around, first off making no sound, but as they're moving, you're starting to hear step, step. You're hearing crates moving, you're hearing furniture and stuff getting moved across wood, you're hearing people starting to talk to one another in languages you've never heard. You guys are seeing this as slowly but surely into existence, people, human, elven, tiefling, kobold, hobgoblin, and goblin, all starting to take shape and form. And soon you guys are surrounded by about 40 to 50 different individuals, massive amounts of supplies, ranging from rope, wood planks, looks like barrels of fruit and food, a fully stocked, fully manned ship. As you're doing so and looking around at all this, no one's really paying you attention yet. A couple people start moving up and down the stairs, knocking into you, physically moving you out of the way. You guys are kind of taken aback, looking around, and in the sides of the ships, on the different levels that you guys are at, you're starting to see portcullises getting carved out of the wood and opening. And in their places, these large harpoons are getting placed. Them too, coming out of some sort of incorporeal nature, but maintaining solidity and becoming actual in front of your eyes. You're seeing people moving about, doing their job quickly, efficiently, getting everything ready. You see a large minotaur come down the stairs into this half deck. He's yelling out, pointing at different people, and as he does so, those people start scurrying away, doing some sort of business. Others kind of like giving an interesting salute as he talks to them, and he's pointing and giving directions. Okay, I'm going to go through everybody right now so I don't have to physically do it. Saren, what languages do you know?
It's actually I want to ask a question first. I don't have my standard spellbook with me, but I still have tongues prepped. Could I still cast it, or would I need the spellbook?
You need the spellbook to cast the spell. Oh, wait, you're using a focus. If you're not casting it from your spellbook, you should be fine.
Okay. Then I'll cast tongues on myself.
Okay.
So, but for the record, it is common, dwarvish, elvish, sylvan, and undercommon.
Okay. Kaporan, languages?
Celestial, Common, Draconic, and Elvish.
Okay. Bryn?
Just common and celestial.
Richa? Well. Nori?
Common, Druidic, Elvish, Goblin, and Sylvan.
And Rashi?
Common, Draconic, Elvish, Dwarvish, but I don't know if it's just regular Dwarvish or Durgard Dwarvish or both.
Both.
Okay, so I speak two different kinds of Dwarvish.
Okay, so none of you guys understand it. Saren, you...
Can I cast Comprehend Languages?
One moment. Saren,
Okay.
even with your tongue spell, you get very chopped messages of what this Minotaur is actually saying. And it doesn't translate well. This is like early versions of Google Translate. And Speak to Talk Google Translate as well. Like, it is very bad. And sentence structure, everything about it doesn't make sense. And as you're listening to it, you almost have to, in your mind, just wizard-wise, you kind of have to write it in your mind and then try and, like, pick and place and try and make sense of the sentence. As you do that, you're getting the vibe that this isn't the captain, whoever the captain may be. This is a first mate or a quartermaster. Someone ranked high up on the ship, but still not the highest. They keep referencing something and it doesn't translate. But you're guessing that whatever that he keeps referencing is the captain, or whatever that rank is in whatever this is.
With that knowledge, can I take the Sylvan version of Felnshara and run it through a couple words in Sylvan? And I'm basically looking for like the difference between Old English and current English to see if it's similar to any words that I know. I want to do the Cobra stuff, but I haven't seen the figurehead yet, so I'm just gonna run it through a bunch of words, see if I can figure out what the name of the ship would have been.
Yeah, and with that is how you guys got Felnshara. Going, because a straight translation doesn't translate. So this is your guys' like broken down, okay, well, what's the base of it? And that's what you got with Felnshara. Like in Sylvan, it would come across as, one moment.
Giant fucking snake.
This is insane.
There's like someone having a conversation outside my fence of my house.
Alright. My Elvis is shit, so bear with me here. But translated, just in Sylvan itself, Nagan dio cobrin nacindo. That's after the translation. There's portions
Okay.
of Sylvan that are used as like almost like verbs of be. Is, are, was, were, be, been, am. That with this, with its straight translation, comes up just to be a bundle of letters. And you guys kind of working through how much you know Sylvan came up with Felnshara as that makes the most sense as a word. But actually, Kaporin, give me a history check.
Okie dokie.
You've seen words like it in your maritime book. But this maritime book has been translated into more up-to-date language. But even for them, some words didn't translate. And so, just like any language to another language, some words just don't translate. But if you take like what they mean and kind of stretch it out, sometimes it still doesn't make sense, and sometimes it can actually kind of lead you to something completely different. So it's kind of along that lines where it's like trying to read ancient Norse. Runes never really meant words. They meant more of ideas. And you kind of had to read it like that. It's kind of the same philosophy. So Felnshara is your guys' most broken down, best attempt at coming up with a Sylvan word.
Would
Okay.
Kaporin have? Oh, sorry. Would Kaporin have like gained an understanding like where the translation is coming from? Like, so he has at least an idea of what.
You
kind
just
of
you
what
just
peop-
know that this ship and that book have roughly the same timeline. So you're looking at over 3,000 years.
So Kaporin's kind of like in the panic of everything, kind of just appearing in front of him. Kind of has already taken up, like right behind Bryn, kind of like back to back, just like protect me. And
I don't
he's
think
like,
you're with
Mommy?
us.
Mommy, you mean?
well, you guys are just like on the other stairwell.
No, they're kind of more up top than we are.
Well, the two stairs they start at the same area, like the same portion of the ship, but they're separated by about 15 feet or so. So, like, if you guys stood at the bottom and the other people stood at the top of the stairs, you guys would be on the same deck, like right next to each other, but about 15 feet apart. And that's when everything started happening, is when you guys both got to that location. So, through, like, people bumping you and moving you out of the way and whatnot, I could say you guys could eventually, for safety, first off, and then just kind of instinctually all wanting to go hug Bryn, eventually making your way, Nori actually hugging Bryn, and then Kaporin slowly but surely kind of like sidestepping his way unconsciously over towards Bryn.
He just to his back now. He just feels Bryn, and he's like, "Oh, comfort. Okay, I feel a little bit
So
safer now."
so people are moving us out of the way, but they're not interacting with us otherwise. Do they look like they're in like a loop of sorts, or like?
If there is a loop, you haven't gotten to the reset of it.
Okay, but they're not like interacting with us in any way. Like after they move us, they just kind of like are like, thing in my way, move.
Yeah, it's almost as if you don't exist. Like, you get bumped
Okay.
by them just because they're moving in that direction. You've not made eye contact with anybody. It's basically as if you don't exist.
Okay, so like, and they haven't made any like eye contact with us. Like, what is this thing that's in my way? It's literally just pick it up and move it, or shove it out of the way.
Yeah, they just walk into you. They're not really.
Okay, so like almost like we're, and like I'm just making a guess, but like almost like we're like existing kind of the same time, but like on different like planes almost.
A better, easier way to explain it would be as if you guys were invisible, but still there.
Kaporin,
Yeah, like different. Okay, I got it.
But you guys also haven't really got into any heavy contact besides the slight shove or brush. You guys like haven't tried interacting or getting in the way of anybody yet. So You don't know.
I've,
It's just been kind of common. Everyone's just busy doing what they're doing. So you can try and interact further if you'd like, but so far the only interaction you guys have actually had was the slight brush or shove.
This is a little bit of BS, but I'm going to ask anyway. So I get my powers from Trentimir, and he's
You get
old
your
as
warlock
fuck.
power.
Yes. I'm talking about comprehend languages. Would I be able to understand the language a little
Did you
bit better
get
since it's
comprehend
coming from
languages
such
from
a?
him?
Yes.
Oh, you got
Isn't it?
comprehend. I think
Yeah, that's the
warlock
spell I. Yeah, the spells I took for warlock were comprehend languages and dissonant whispers.
Okay. Hold on.
Wow. Nori coming in clutch.
Pa's just in the outside, swimming his hardest to get up next to the thing and at least latch onto the outside of the boat.
Oh no.
He's like, help!
Yeah.
Well,
I was gonna
luckily,
say,
since the boat has come back into full existence now, there are side ladders for you to climb up.
Okay, then yeah, he'll make his way up to the deck.
Saren's gonna be like moving back towards the captain's quarters too. He's gonna be doing it really gingerly. Like if anyone's moving, he's gonna get out of the way, so he doesn't come in contact with anyone.
And Bryn's gonna start moving up toward trying to find Racha, since they haven't said anything to us.
Good luck
Even-
with Nori
is
detached
hanging
you.
off me and Corn is hanging off of her. She's gonna make their way up there.
Nori's gonna cast the spell on herself, see if it works, and then go help Bryn find Rachel.
While go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. While Saren's walking towards the back of the ship, he's gonna stand like halfway in the way of one of the crew mates while they're walking by, and he wants to see when it comes into contact with him, does it feel like someone's shoving him and he can push back, or does it feel like he's getting hit by a wall and he's completely just forced out of the way?
Okay. So this will be happening roughly at the same time that Bryn's doing her thing and Nori's doing her thing. Saren, you kind of put yourself in the way of the staircase as you see a hobgoblin who's carrying a crate start to come towards you, and you're kind of like, all right. You kind of like, shove your shoulder out slightly and your hip kind of like getting in his way, and you feel the sharp corner of that box as it fucking impacts your rib, and just, ooh, and you immediately, ooh, fuck, and you just hear, as it looks towards you and kind of spits some language at you and continues moving forward. You get the translation as feet fuck, big, and then some other word.
After getting the interaction, I'm definitely grouping back up with Bryn.
Nori, with comprehend languages on from Trentimir, you guys, at first you don't hear anything. Like, you're just hearing the same words that get kind of spewed to everything and just not understanding it. But as it slowly starts to make some sort of sense, like a very slow transition that some movies and such will do when like people are speaking a different language and they're like, fuck subtitles, let's just speak in English now. As they kind of do that, as they kind of sparse it through, it starts to do that translation. Bryn, you're heading up, right? Nora, you said are you following?
Yeah, I said I was going with Bryn.
And you got Saren and Kaporin behind?
That sounds about right.
Kaporin's got like his hand in your belt, so wherever you're going, he's going.
Yeah, I can just picture that. Yeah,
And
this 6'6" motherfucker just, yep, hanging onto my belt. Yep.
And Rashi, what are you doing?
I guess bringing up the rear. I was gonna follow Saren, but then he's regrouping, so I'm just bringing up the rear, I guess.
And Saren's along in tow. Okay, so it's probably Bryn up front with Kaporin right behind. He's body blocked Nori out of that position. And then Nori with Saren and Rashi behind. Saren and Rashi, you guys see as Nori has cast her spell and is walking up behind Bryn, this purple light, kind of, not really light, almost like some sort of like purple gel, like some violet gel, starts to seep around from the back of her neck and kind of encapsulate her entire neck. And you see it creep up the side of her ears and connect over the top of her ears, almost kind of looking like a scarf with headphones. And as this happens is when the language starts to slowly come into coherence for you, Nori. You're not sure what language this is, but you're starting to understand what they're saying. The Minotaur seems to be shouting orders, telling those to get ready for a voyage, make sure things are tied down. And the way that it translates, the best translation you get is master. The master wants all these things done quickly. The master needs you all to hurry up. The master... But it isn't master, because master would translate. This is something else. And it's weird that that doesn't translate. But the word that you get where this master goes, the word is... Trilison. Trilosson.
TRIL.
OSSON.
Interesting. So that's the equivalent to master, or is that a name?
That's the word that's translating to master.
Okay.
It doesn't translate correctly, but that's the closest that your comprehend languages is giving you. So that's an interesting food for thought. But as you're...
Like
Go ahead.
I was like, because the language is so old that it doesn't work with our language currently.
Possibly.
Warren just kind of gives like a brief speak of. It's like whatever we are on or whoever we're around, this language or whatever this is ancient.
Yeah, I'm... Saren, do you have your spell up?
I do. I'm getting bits and pieces, but not very much.
I'm kind of... It's old. It's really old. The only things I'm getting is that they're referencing the master, but it's not a direct translation. It's something Trilison, and I don't know what that is.
Everybody, don't even ask.
We don't know.
I'm not sure if that should be our priority at the moment. He's gonna look around.
And where's Rachaw?
We should probably focus
Coming up the
on
side of the boat.
finding out if this is the other half of the ship we need, and probably start grabbing what we can and getting off before the ship starts moving.
Because the ship has almost like coalesced and smoothed out into a normal ship instead of a broken mess. Is the world around us different? Has like the color of the water changed?
As you guys get to the top deck, you see the rest of the crew here. Altogether, it's about a 50-person ship. At least crew-wise, that's going on. You now see the ship in its full glory. 6 masts as you guys come out. Full cloth sails. The deck completely smooth as if it was built the day prior. Racha, you've started to climb up the side of the ship, and as you see the side of the ship, you're like, oh, that's a big ship. but you climb up nonetheless, and as you come over the side, just as the group is starting to come out onto the top deck, you see a very wet bird, slightly upset and pissed off, coming up over the side. Upset that he's wet, pissed off that he lost his skulls. And just
rubbing his head from hitting the water a little too hard.
Yep.
He was just like, looks over, is like, what happened?
And Racha, you now see about 15 people kind of scattered across the top of this deck with your group, all different races. Even 2 races you guys can't quite identify. One of them being an interesting looking, tall, skinny, scaled skin, but not dragonborn, not Naga. You guys have dealt with Naga here and there. You've seen them. Some sort of hybrid or possibly origination point of either, because you don't see Dragonborn or Naga on the ship, but you see this creature. It seems to hold some sort of seniority, but it is scaled. It doesn't have any extra extremities to be a snake or dragonborn. There is no tail, but it seems to have the scaled skin like the 2 races, but instead it has actual hair with it that kind of goes down the back of the neck, almost like a mane of a horse. And it's tucked in behind very well armor comparative to everyone else here who is wearing very light or no armors whatsoever. This is a very thickly armored individual, full scale mail across them. As they kind of are creeping by, they sit roughly about 6.5 feet tall and just built as if every day was chest and leg day. They are very yoked, kind of dwarfing the Minotaur. That's how big these guys are. Barrel chested, about 3.5 feet across.
Female?
You can't tell. Never dealt with these, so you're not sure if it's male or female. They're not saying anything. They're just stalking everyone and everything up top, constantly looking at you guys.
Looking at us?
Yes.
Okay.
You guys are the only ones not really moving on the top deck. The second race of individuals that you guys can't quite identify. It's, if you had to give it anything, it'd probably closest to a tiefling. Stark purple skin across its body, but red lines, almost zebra-esque, kind of stretch out from the face and go into the back of the head, that disappears into a mess of long black hair. It's got 2 sets of tusks that grow out from each side of its face and curl in towards its chin, but about a good 3 to 4 inches away from the actual chin itself. As you guys eye it and it kind of opens its mouth, you see about 3 rows of jagged teeth on top and bottom as it kind of just snaps and snarls at the people next to it as it continues doing its work. It does have a tail, and at the very end, it is tipped with a barb. It kind of just almost unnaturally standing on 2. It almost looks like it wants to be on all 4, but is forcing itself onto 2 legs, but has a very hard hunch to its back, as if at any moment it kind of wants to go down on all 4s just to be comfortable again. But it looks like it might be like a possible evolutionary point where they've gone from being four-legged and are starting to move towards the 2-leg. But you guys have never seen anything like this. The languages are scattered in...
You said the...
Go ahead.
Sorry, you said the armored being is looking, like, keeps, like, eyeing us, but it's the only person on the top deck that, like, is pointedly looking at us?
Yes. Everyone else seems to be busy with whatever they're doing.
Are our clothes different from theirs?
Drastically.
Yeah.
You, like I said, he's the one in full scale mail. Everyone else is in very light leather armors or no armors whatsoever. Very light, carefree shirts, and thin, fabrics. Very
I'm
on the sea-esque wear.
I'm thinking that one maybe is like maybe first mate or the captain maybe. But
Uh,
Talking about master.
yeah, I mean like someone who's dressed like that like is clearly a position of power. But I'm concerned because they keep looking at us. So like, do we want to wave or like
Sar-
scurry about? What do we want to do? Because that's concerning if something like that is like looking at us, but no one else is.
Saren's
Yeah.
Rachaz,
not gonna say anything. He's going. Is there anyone going? Are any of the crew members going back towards where the captain's quarters would be?
So, the length of the ship rivals about 220 feet. Where you guys have come out onto the middle of the top deck. You guys are still a good 80 feet or so back to the door where you think is the captain's quarters. It is open, and currently no one is going in or out of it.
Saren's gonna do something like pick up a crate, maybe, and he's gonna act like he's working in some way and moving back, and he's gonna keep an eye on the lizard. Is it still eyeing him? Is it still eyeing me as I'm walking towards the back
If
of
you
the
pick
ship?
up a crate and start moving, no.
So he'll get to the back of the ship, and then if
I'll
no
say
one follows,
you're starting to move that way, yeah.
yeah.
Rachaz would just sort of like, in with Rashi mentioning that, he'd say something like, "Do your fucking job," and then start doing the same thing that Saren sort of did, and try to help out wherever he can help out.
Rachaz all down for conscription.
Strassi work needs to be done, and he's just like, I'm doing it, no care. Kaporn has with this new interesting being kind of presented in front of him is kind of like has become not enthralled but very interested in what this thing is and why is it staring down on them. So he's kind of like slowly approaching it.
Okay.
Well, I can only move so slowly, so
Yeah, very slowly approaching. Daddy. Bryn, Nori, Rashi.
If there's another box or something to pick up,
Yeah, there's some stuff
or
all
like
over
a
the top of
mop
this deck.
or something. Okay, so she's gonna like pick up follow Richa and Saren's lead and like pick up a crate or something and like kind of look at Bryn and Nori and point to where Saren went and like start making her way that way.
Rachaz just swabbing the deck at this point, just up and down the whole deck.
That takes a long time, Richa. You're swabbing like a part of the deck.
Exactly.
just anime style running like Naruto running with the mop across the floor.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like back when I had to like sweep the gym for detention at my high school.
Just full
like
sprint.
just up and down. Yeah.
He's double dashing.
So fast.
Yeah, you just see this black blur as Rachaz run, dash, bonus action dash.
If I accidentally collide with anybody, I'm like, piss off, human.
Speaking a completely different language. At this point, the dolphin might be more easy to understand.
Brent?
Does the creature still keep their eyes on?
Oh, first we'll go to Brent.
Oh, okay.
Brent and Nori.
I guess when Saren does tongues, does that take? I mean, would we have known that he cast it on himself?
Well, Nori straight up
I
asked
asked
him.
him.
Okay, that's right. Okay, so he's gonna be the only. Yeah, she's gonna pick up a freaking crate if there's another one and follow Saren because he's gonna be the only one to.
Hi ho. Hi ho.
Exactly.
because he's going to be the only one that's going to be able to speak unless I speak in their minds. And at this point, this language is so old, they're going to be like witchcraft and throw me off the boat. So I guess I'm going to go try and pick up a box.
I mean, given
and
how he
follow their lead.
described the purple thing, given how he
Yeah.
described the purple thing, I don't think they'll witchcraft you.
They're going to witchcraft me.
All right, so Kaporin,
Yes.
as you slowly start making your way towards this creature, it's like I said, it's pacing the top of the deck as everyone else has. Hold on.
Oh no.
Wild.
We all think Racha is going to kill us, but it's going to be Kaporin.
Hey, at least we can all breathe underwater.
It could always be both.
That's true. Point taken. But Racha's way will probably be more fun. Kaporin, we're going to be like, really? Did you have to do that?
So,
Warren saw a person and had to go walk towards it.
as everyone else starts to go in roughly the same direction, Kaporin, in Kaporin fashion, goes for Big Beefy Boy and starts heading in that direction. The creature sees you coming and looking at him and pointedly turns in your direction and starts walking towards you. He gets about 20 feet to you and starts speaking at you in a language you don't understand.
Do I understand this?
You guys are walking off in a different direction.
Oh dear.
You see him kind of just point at you with a hand that looks humanoid-esque, but where nails would be, claws come out from the fingertips.
Okay. Kaporin, out of just kind of like watching everyone and out instinct, probably just like does this weird salute that he's seen the other members of the ship do, and just kind of out of just like street horror because he's not sure what's going on, and just is it attention kind of like facing this beefy boy.
As you kind of straighten up and do the salutes, he comes closer towards you, still kind of, and just keep pointing, is walking towards you, and you kind of stand straight and do the salute, and he kind of just follows you, like circles you, kind of like a shark circling its prey, and its mouth opens up and you can see about 2 rows of pointed teeth. And as he does that, you see this long tongue, about 1.5 feet long, kind of go out and slap you across the face. And as you do so, you feel an intense pain across the cheek that he slaps you. And you're like, but you're trying to hold it back. And you look at him as he's starting to drool from his mouth being open so much. Drool is spilling out from his mouth. And as it impacts the floor of the deck, you start to see as the acidic venom spit that this creature has is starting to bore a hole into the bottom, and you can only imagine what that's doing to your cheek right now.
I do. Oh wait, even though my armor is acid resistant, doesn't protect
Not your
my
cheek.
face. Got it.
You take 10 points of acid damage.
Okay. At this point, Kaporin kind of freaking out. He will, looking at the deck, will repair the damage to the deck and then immediately grab a box and run off.
Oh, you have mending. I was going to be like, how the fuck do you have mending? Okay.
I mend the acid damage that the creature does to the deck, just so like I'm doing a job. Grab a box and run to meet with the other group members.
Okay.
If the creature allows me to leave.
Yeah. Ooh, nat 20.
Oh no.
I'm scared.
He's gonna, as you're starting to run off, smack you on the ass as I get up and go. But it knows no restraint, and its claw attack gets 2d4, and it rolled a nat 20, and it rolled 4 on both. So you take 19 points of slashing damage.
I'm officially at 23.
As now another set of pants of Kaporin have been destroyed. As
They're the same pants that got damaged the first time, and I've mended them.
And now you have 4 large claw marks that rake the bottom of your right butt cheek all the way to the top near the belt.
Kaporin just like kind of, I'm playing out as Kaporin, just runs around, winks, and continues to run off with the box.
Runs off, ow, 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 ow.
But he's just so like, okay, well, that was kinky, and just continues to run.
Okay. So you guys are all carrying boxes towards the back of the ship. Saren, you're in the lead. What are you doing? Oh, and
So
the bird Zamboni that is cleaning the deck.
So I don't have any ink, but I do have a 1 ounce ink bottle. So I'm gonna take that out, either while I'm carrying the box or when I get to the end, and I'm going to use it to like roll it through the door to see if it sets off any traps when I get there.
Okay. So kind of taking the box towards the back, putting it down, and kind of sliding the ink bottle across the floor into the cabin area. Slide through. Doesn't seem to be any problems.
Okay. Yeah. Once I set down the box, I'm gonna glance back at the thing to make sure it doesn't freak out, but I will walk into the. You know what? No. Since I have spells, I have invisibility prepared. So as soon as I drop the box, I'll kind of put who's biggest, Bryn, in between me and the creature and cast invisibility.
Okay. Invisibility is cast.
And then I'll go inside.
All right. Inside, it's a decently large. I mean, you see the size of the ship and the width of it, so you get a rough idea of what at least this space was going to be like size-wise. And it meets expectations. Inside here, there are 5 chests, 4 that line the entrance as you're walking in, 2 on either side, and then 1 that sits at the far back, near the back double doors that leads to the small balcony for outside. There is a single desk in here that has a plethora of different scrolls and such that are all wrapped tightly and placed on top, all of them weighted down by ledgers, journals, and different things. There is what seems to be some sort of dresser off to the left. Not necessarily fine wood or finely crafted looking, but functional. And off to the right, you see looks to be a decent bed. Nothing huge, nothing luxurious, but again, more for utility than showmanship or anything like that. There's no one in here.
Okay, I'm gonna walk around to the chests, and I'm not gonna open any of them, but I'll put a slight pressure just to see if it feels like they're locked or not.
You can see the 4 chests, at least, that you are walking past, all have padlocks on the front of them.
Okay.
Decently large, old-looking locks. You go into the one behind the desk?
Yeah.
Okay. This one back here doesn't seem to be locked. Also is slightly bigger than the rest of them and looks less weather scarred. Looks like this chest stays inside most of the time.
Okay, and nothing's. How long have I been in here?
This is just a minute or so.
And nothing's followed me in.
Everybody else, are you guys going in, staying out?
No, I don't think that would be smart. Saren's invisible, and we are very much not.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, Rashi's staying outside, sort
So
of
if you guys are staying
trying
outside,
to
what are you
provide some
doing?
cover as well. I'm stacking the boxes in an orderly fashion.
Okay, that'll
Morning,
work for about 25 seconds, but after that,
Trying to stay out of the big guy's line of sight.
he's just doing circles on the
Oh,
ship.
he's doing circles. Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, he's pacing the ship.
I'm listening to conversations as I try to do box things, which I struggle with my -1 to strength.
Give me a perception check, Nori.
Alrighty, I'm supposed to be good at this, but there we go.
She walks into a box.
With
I drove a box on my foot.
just with the amount of different language conversations that are going on, it seems Trentimir's having a hard time translating everything all at once.
That makes sense.
These all seem to be decently old languages that there's multiple of them. It's not just they're all speaking the same language.
Sorry, buddy.
The one conversation you do come across seems to be against a goblin and a hobgoblin, which is the easiest one to understand. Goblin language hasn't really changed a whole hell of a lot over the centuries and millennia,
And I already know the language, so.
and so it helps. But even just its language alone, you still need to comprehend just to understand what they're saying. But they're talking about how long till next port. It's been a few days since they last ate. Are they getting close to what they're hunting? And I'm trying to remember if these guys would remember that.
Remembering if they remember the remember.
Yeah. Because I have to do this to open Zoom, so I can't look at the notes. Yeah, that'd be about it that they know. Okay. Go ahead.
In terms of work being done, does anything seem like that's an unusual thing to be doing since we've been on boats before? It's like, why is that guy doing that kind of thing? Is any of that sort of happening, or is it all just seem like routine shifting of stuff?
It seems routine to them, at least. You've never been on a ship like this before, this large, this differently equipped. So you're not sure if this is different because you haven't seen it before, or if it's different because it's weird. So you're having a hard time really understanding that difference. But there are some things that are odd for at least what you've seen on ships that you've been on. But like I said, they all seem to be going into some sort of flow, and they know what they're doing, and they feel confident in the stuff that they are doing. So you can at least assess that whatever they're doing, they're used to it, and that's their routine. Okay. Sorry, Saren. You're going back to the back chest, right?
What I think I'm gonna do instead is, if nothing's following me in there, I'm gonna kind of hide behind the desk.
You muted, Saren.
You probably tabbed out, looking at something.
I did indeed. I'm going to go through the drawers and like the cabinet and see if I can find any keys.
This desk is less. It's more table-esque than desk. It's not like a full like writer's desk. You've got one drawer that comes out the bottom, and it just holds more paperwork. It's all undone paperwork. So this is like blank pieces of parchment, blank scrolls, extra pen, extra ink.
Can I? I'm gonna, if I can, I'm gonna take the ink.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna, not that I really know how to do it, I'm gonna try and check the back chest for traps.
Okay, go ahead and make an investigation check for me. Well, it doesn't seem locked, and it doesn't seem at least mechanically trapped in any way that you know or have seen before. No string that is tied to something or something like that. No arrows pointing down at you from the ceiling or something. It's at least all copacetic in that sense.
Okay.
You muted.
I'm going to do something really stupid right after I check how many spells I have.
Nori drowned.
Okay, so I'm going to let's say the second furthest one. Are the 4 chests are there like all lined up on a wall against the wall?
No, they're not lined up against. They are lined up, but not against a wall. So, like I said, as you came in the door, they were on either side of you, about 3 feet on either side away from you, and they're separated by about 5 feet, but they weren't up against a wall.
Okay. I'm going to choose one at random, and I'm going to drop invisibility and cast knock on one of the locks, and then immediately, if it sounds like anything's running towards the back of the ship, I'll recast invisibility. If not, I'll just stay.
Okay. You got 4 chests, 2 on the left, 2 on the right, 1 forward, 1 back. Which one do you want to try this on?
Whatever 4 is.
I don't know what you set up them to be, so.
I wanted to do something random.
Okay, so 4 will be the front right one. So that way, if someone was rushing in, you could hide up against the wall. I don't know. That's just what it is.
I
Okay.
didn't drown.
She swam back up. So you cast knock, and the lock unhitches and falls with a heavy clud to the floor. Knock itself is a loud spell in general.
Yep, everyone on the ship should be able to hear it.
Yeah, you guys all hear as you guys are stacking boxes for untold amounts of minutes. A loud ting behind you, coming from the place you all think Saren is in. As many heads turn in your guys' direction and your beautiful stacked set of boxes. You see the large reptilian man kind of peek his head around the 4 masts that make up the top of this deck portion that he's currently behind, and just starts making his way towards you all. You see the goblin and the hobgoblin that you were listening in on immediately drop everything that they're doing and head towards the front of the ship.
Okay, I do that too.
A couple of people that are on the opposite end, an elf and an elf and a human just immediately whoop, and start heading towards the front of the ship as well.
Yeah, I'll follow their lead. They seem like they know what's happening, and I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah. Rashi will whisper in the door that the reptilian person is coming and follow Nori.
Well, I'm assuming that even though no one started running, if everyone stopped and looked, it probably created a big vacuum where everything turned quiet for a second.
I mean, for you, there's still movement on the second floor underneath. There's still the ocean sounds coming out from all sides around you. There's still people yelling and such. It got noticeably quieter, but not completely silent.
Okay. With the noticeable change in direction, I'm casting invisibility.
Okay.
And if there's time, I'm going to I'm gonna leave the room.
Okay. So you're going through those things as the people starts, because the knock hits and falls off. This sound reverberates through everybody, and the silence kind of follows, and everyone kind of holds their breath. You hear the skittering start to happen as people start running away, and you cast invisibility on yourself. Bryn, Nori, Rashi, Kaporin, you guys all start taking off in that same direction too, kind of following the crowds as they're making their way. The reptilian individual starts making his way towards the back of the ship. At the same time, the Minotaur individual is coming up the stairs. And they kind of meet each other at the same time as he's passing. And the Minotaur takes the left, the reptilian man takes the right. You see them both kind of look at each other and nod and start heading in that direction. Saren, you casted visibility on yourself and you turn to exit the door and you can't get out the door. You push up against it and you see a faint blue aura kind of cracking in front of you, just the now goes as the Minotaur and the reptilian man start running towards you as they see the blue starting to arc across the doorway.
I back away from the door. And I'm just going to kind of go stand in the center of the room, invisible, for a second.
Okay.
Well, that's one way to trap a room.
You see the Minotaur kind of takes a step back and lets the reptilian person go through first. As he does so, he runs his fingers down the left side of the door, and you see the blue kind of force field just dissipate as he squeezes his shoulders to get inside. The Minotaur then takes up position in the doorway and just stands there, and they're both scanning the room. The reptilian guy kind of looks down at the lock that's down, and he just waves his hand over the lock. As it does so, you see the lock lift up and relock itself. You hear same sound that the knock spell does, but almost in reverse, as it and you see the faint blue energy from the spell kind of travel out up to where you were standing when you cast the knock spell. You see
to where I was standing, not where I am.
Yeah, to where you were standing when you cast it. You see the reptilian guy just from his scale mail. So he actually reaches in with his own hand. It almost looks like he's trying to pierce himself, but his hand melds through the metal, almost Terminator-esque. And you see it go all the way up to his wrist. And as he retracts it, he pulls out a greatsword and kind of just flicks it. And as he flicks it, a bit of water kind of just splashes against the floor, and electricity arcs between the droplets and the sword. As he does so, he jams it into the wall, right where the source of energy from the knock spell had put your location. And you guys see from your end, you guys are all at the front of the ship. Everyone is just huddled there watching what's going on. You guys see this little bit of silver all of a sudden pierce through the wall, and just a force of explosion as lightning just scatters in different, up to the sky, down to the deck, all over in different directions, even catching the Minotaur a little bit, which he takes some damage. Takes 13 damage of lightning as one of the bolts kind of scatters across and hits the back of it, and he just and kind of just sits there still scanning the room. The reptilian man then just takes his sword out, little bits of electricity still arcing into the air, and he kind of just holds it again. He reaches up to his throat And he goes, and fog starts to pour into the room, slowly
do I have enough
creeping
time to
across the.
react to that?
Sure.
How tall is the fog looking?
It's starting to creep around the waist, so it's staying low right now as he's spitting it out.
If I were to go to the chest that was behind the desk and stealthily climb on that, would that be tall enough to avoid it or no?
From the height that it's going at right now, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try and go. I'm gonna slowly walk back and try and like stand on the chest.
Okay, go ahead and give me a stealth check with advantage. And you guys say Kaporn gets you all in trouble.
I'm like, wow.
Kaporn just gets himself in trouble.
I said Kaporin would probably get us killed.
Oh, okay.
We're all not with Saren, so if Saren dies, it's on his own.
And then there is a set of double doors in the back, just FYI. So you, as the fog starts to slowly roll out of his mouth, you start to step back quietly. Luckily, there's rugs here, so keeping your footsteps as light as possible. Get to the back, and as the fog starts to creep slowly into the room, you're able to get up quietly, stand on the chest. The fog creeps out and hangs decently low to the floor and encompasses the bottom of all the chests, getting to the back door and starting to slowly seep out through the cracks in the back double doors. The reptilian individual kind of holding his throat and is just looking around, waiting for any disturbance in the fog. You see him take the sword and just tap it against the ground. And as he does so, the electricity arcs and chases the fog, going in all directions along the fog bank, impacting everything that the fog is currently covering. Luckily, you're out of it. You make no purchase with it. But with that, the fog dissipates, the electricity charging it out. And he kind of like leans back to the Minotaur.
Do I
You
get
just-
any part of that?
With your tongues, all you get is master's things not safe. Get the one. And the Minotaur kind of does the salute, even though he's not facing him, and bows. And the reptilian man kind of turns around, and where the Minotaur was standing, he just shoves his greatsword into the pathway of the quarters back here. Greatsword about 3 feet, after it's embedded, rises about 3 feet into the doorway itself. But it's constantly just arcing electricity. The Minotaur runs off, and you guys see the Minotaur turn around, and full sprint is just fucking hauling ass down to the lower decks.
The lizard thing is still watching though?
Yeah, he's still in there, just slowly looking from side to side, every now and then just sliding his tongue out, tasting the air.
I'm
Slowly moving throughout the room, spending a lot of time near that first chest, roughly where you were standing.
Can you taste anything else but Kaporin? He's pretty sweet.
I'm gonna go and He stuck the like the sword is now like floating in the doorway.
It's not floating. It's embedded into the floor. He shoved it into the deck. And like I said, it raises about 3 feet up. But the electricity is arcing.
Is it arcing like in the doorway or just in the spaces around it?
It's arcing into the door frame. It's it's touching the closest objects that it has around it, which is the door frame. But some of the arcs do go off into just open space.
And there are doors in the back?
Yeah, there's a set of double doors directly behind you as you stand on the last chest.
And they have are they doorknobs or push doors?
It's door handles. Give me a perception check. You never tested the doors. Yeah, it's fine. Pretty much the same exact one. You never tested the doors, but as you look at the door handles now, there is a keyhole. You're not sure if it's locked or not. Just letting you know that before you make a decision.
Okay, hold on. Let me unmute myself so I can stop going to Zoom. Okay. So my, I never said I picked it up. But they didn't find it, so I'm assuming at some point I picked up my thing for the ink.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And probably put it back in your bag or pouch.
So it would be invisible with me, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to.
Oh wait, if it's invisible, you do not have it. You don't know where the hell it's at.
Oh. I'm going to get off the chest. I'm going to reach into my component pouch for any of the magical things, and I'm going to try and see if I can if it goes through the doorway. Or no, okay. Sorry, a lot going on.
Oh yeah, I know.
When I saw them do the activation trick.
Wasn't expecting you guys to fucking put the cobra back.
I saw them do the activation trick. Did they do it again? So is the door active or unactivated right now?
It looks like whatever the reptilian individual did to get in he is not undone.
Okay.
Hence why he put the sword in the way.
I'm gonna take anything from my component pouch. Let me make a decision. Well, I'm gonna grab a copper coin from because I got 2 of them. Copper coin from my component pouch, or I'll feel around if I can find it. If not, I'll just use anything. Anything but the pearl. So if it's completely round, I won't use it. And I'll go towards the door, and I'll kind of toss it through the door. See if it gets stuck or anything, or if it goes through and makes the noise.
Okay.
If I'm landing.
Go ahead and make a dexterity check for me. And you said you're at the back, right?
No, I would have got off the chest and moved around.
All right, stealth check first then.
Get advantage again. Fuck. Roll with advantage. What is this?
That's not it.
It's not bad.
Okay, so you move off to the side, trying to stay somewhat far away from this guy, right? Because he's like creeping up the middle of the room near the 4 chests. He's not leaving the chests that he's currently nearby, but he's tasting the air. He's following a scent. So how close to the door do you want to get? This back area is about 30 feet long, so 30 feet from the back windows to the doorway, and it's about it's about 45 feet wide.
I want to say 10. I'm gonna go 15. 15 feet away from the sword.
Okay. And
And
off
then,
to one of the sides?
Um,
Probably the opposite side of the chest you opened?
no, because I'm gonna throw the coin through, so I'm just like facing down the door.
Well, if you
So
face down the door, he's standing right there.
Oh, he's standing right there.
Yeah, I
Okay,
told you, he's
then
up the
I'll-
middle of the room. He's not leaving the chests, but he's like in the middle. So you'd have to
Then,
go
yeah,
to get an angle on the
I'll-
door, you need to go to one of the sides.
I'll go to the side away from the chest, away from where he's at, and I'll try and toss it through.
All right, dex check.
Did I take off my advantage?
Yeah, no advantage on this one.
Normal roll. It's not good.
A lot of things not good with this situation. So you toss the coin, and with it being invisible, you fucking have no acuity on where the hell it is. But you all of a sudden see as a tendril of electricity coming off this sword itself seems to connect with something in midair. And then you hear the impact of the coin hitting the doorframe and falling to the ground. But you also see the tendril of electricity following this coin, connecting to it as it makes contact with the doorframe and falls onto the floor. You see the reptilian man kind of snap his head around as now that it's a new item for it to go to and it's metal, a lot of the electricity is starting to pool and point and coming off the sword and connecting with this coin as he goes over and immediately claws at this location, hitting the coin, but it stays invisible as long as you're invisible. So he knocks it out of the way of the sword, so the electricity is no longer, which he does take some damage from the electricity. Okay, con save. Okay. But he kind of just
Okay. Time.
You're playing with fire there, Saren. You're playing with
Time-
fire.
time for this.
Or
he
electricity.
now knows something's in here.
Time for the stupidest
Oh, yeah.
idea of the night. As soon as does he stay by the door?
Yeah, after he claws the coin away, he starts moving in the direction that the coin came from.
Okay, I'm gonna circle around him as best I can. And I've got an idea.
Okay, so during the time all of that happened, everyone else, you guys just hear the murmurings of the group of individuals outside that are just sitting there watching. As the Minotaur went down to the lower decks, some orders got barked, too muffled for you to understand or hear, but you can hear that something's going on, and a lot of the movement stops down below decks. And you guys can actually physically see as the ship starts to tilt towards the front a little bit, as you're guessing all the other individuals on the lower decks got shoved to the front as well. The Minotaur, then you hear, come rampaging up the steps, followed by a very, very elegant-looking, full elven individual. Not like any of the high elves that Saren or Nori have ever experienced in their lives. Nori, make a history check.
We know how good I am at these.
Would Racha have been able to recognize Saren's knock? Like, I'm aware that this is Saren doing something, and something's going on with Saren, or because
But
I
you all-
technically never saw him go invisible and go in because I
You
was
all
off
know that
doing
sound because
Zamboni.
he's done knock around you guys before. So it's a very specific sound.
Does it? So are we like actively sailing away from
No, none of the
where we
sails
were?
are down. You guys are kind of like free floating around the spire. You guys, if you guys look over the sides, you can still see your glass raft.
Okay. So are we able to see the shore from here?
Miles away. And with how dark it's gotten, not really. You can get general ideas of landscapes off in the distance, but nothing particular for distancing reasons. Nori, you've seen pictures of this individual, or at least this type of individual.
Oh dear.
It is the type of individuals that all high elves strive to be.
Oh dear.
As they're walking around, you notice a collar is on them and seems to be being guided by the Minotaur. You know this is an archfey. And with their very long silver hair that goes down their back, nice, beautiful pearl robes that, even though it's scraping across the deck of this mangy ship, isn't getting caught on anything. And as you look at it, it almost seems to be hovering and floating just above the deck, just ever so slightly, so it's actually not touching anything. But beautiful female archfey, and her hair goes all the way down to the floor and then braids itself down about probably where the back of her knees are, turns into a braid, and then kind of just braids in on itself, so it also doesn't touch the floor at all. Her ears, one second, her ears kind of creates a very long, almost never-ending point as they go back from her head and curve up at the very ends of it. Her fingers and extremities all exacerbated to an insane degree that you're like, now you understand why high elves sort of inbreed to kind of emulate this. As though the high elf inbreeding situation or pureblooding isn't as beautiful as she looks, because you can see why they aspire to look like this, because even though she does have very longer features, everything is proportionate. And she, even though she's moving, and you can see the ever so slightly bobbing of her head, she's moving with such grace that she almost seems to float past. But through the silver hair, you see what looks to be a black collar wrapped around her neck. And the Minotaur is not pulling her, not forcibly moving her. She is just following obediently behind. Sarah?
Okay. I can still see the lizard guy. So, at the beginning, they were ghostly turning into normal. At this point, are they like completely flesh and bones, or are they still a little ghostly?
No, they're completely solid.
Okay. I'm going to sneak back around the desk and hide behind it. On the double doors, is there at all a window to them?
Yeah, the double doors are actually glass.
Glass.
With like wood struts that, section off the glass itself into 9 panes of glass, but the doors themselves are mostly glass.
If I throw something if I were to take my dagger out and throw it at the window to break it, that's an attack, so I'd lose my invisibility, wouldn't I?
Correct.
Okay.
Becomes an improvised ranged weapon.
I think it's just thrown. So if I were to get behind the desk completely, would I
Remember, I said the desk is more of a table.
The table, sorry. So I wouldn't be able to hide behind it if I wasn't invisible.
Correct. I mean, you could, but unless someone is like standing over the top of the desk and you're trying to hide under it, they would be able to see.
If Is there
The only thing that you could hide behind that would be able to block the entirety of you, even if you're invisible, is the dress, like the dresser-esque thing. More of like an armoire.
Is it possible to get behind that?
It is, but it's literally the only thing in the room that's decently tall. It sticks out about 2 feet. I mean, you're gonna have to try and squish yourself super fucking hard into that corner because this guy's already on alert, which, as I'm saying, means disadvantage.
Is there, without going completely behind it, is there a spot I could stand in so they can't see me, but I can see the glass window so I could throw something at it?
The armoire is probably your best bet.
No, what I'm asking is like, so I could get behind it, but does it go out far enough that I could stand to the side of it and still not be seen?
Where the reptilian person currently is, since you've thrown the coin, it's on the same side as the dresser. So he's a little bit more, if you're looking in the room from the doorway, he's off to the left behind those left row of chests as he's trying to slowly taste his way through the room. The dresser is on that side as well, and it sticks out about 2 feet from the wall. So you could go on the other side, and currently he wouldn't be able to see you.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm trying to plan right now, but I'm not trying to use knowledge that I don't have. Okay, I'm gonna try and
12 seconds.
I'm gonna try and get behind the dresser so that he wouldn't be able to see me without squeezing behind it. I want to take my dagger, and I'm going to. When I attack with it, do I lose invisibility right away or right after the attack goes through?
As you throw it.
I'm gonna do my best to throw it without extending super far so that I wouldn't be visible from him when I finish throwing it. I'm gonna try and yeah, more or less.
Trying to keep yourself as hidden as possible while throwing it.
Trying to keep myself hidden as possible and try and throw the dagger through the glass window. So like and since he can't see it, make it seem like something is just busting through it.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an attack roll. With the dagger and throne properties.
Dex is not my strong suit.
As I said, you're roguing really hard for a non-rogue.
Well, he did one roguish thing and it just fucked him.
Finally,
right.
But I'm finally living through Elwer here. This is what he deserved to be.
His first character was a rogue that died pretty much immediately. Because he rogued, but he didn't check the very first door for traps.
It was my first time
playing
I
know. You checked everything else and you did great throughout the entire house, but the very first door had a trap on it that set off an alarm. And so when he got done, there was just guards waiting for him as he came out of the house with all the stolen shit. And he's just like,
oh, no.
And so he started running away.
Is my video still playing?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we can hear you too.
Okay, because I got an API 1 error on D&D Beyond. I have no character sheets. I think it's dexterity plus proficiency. So, because I'm proficient with daggers, so it'd be +5. Okay, yeah, 24.
Oh yeah, your character sheet's all fucked up.
Oh, you can't. I wonder what.
I can't open it either.
Oh, let's see. I might have got it back. Yeah, because it took away all my character sheets for a second, so I had 0 characters. But I'm back in it.
Came back.
Oh, what the fuck was that? That couldn't have just been my internet then. Let's see. Let me put it in. Make sure that's right. Yeah, it'd be +5, so that all works. 24.
No, Nori's just a bunch of letters. There she is. Okay, so go ahead and roll damage.
What is that? Just 1d4 +2. Oh, I rolled digital dice. Oh, okay. 5 damage.
Okay,
On
so
glass. Hopefully it's not reinforced or magical.
if the front door was magical,
Okay.
back door
I
is
was
probably
hoping.
going to be magical too.
I was hoping just because, like,
Luckily, it's only 5 HP magical. So, it's just a simple little bit of a reinforced lock spell. But it extends to the whole door. But you're just breaking out a pane of glass. So as you throw the dagger, it goes straight through one of the middle panes of glass, cracking it, sending the dagger through, and the dagger reappears on the other side, embedded into the floor, and this pane of glass is now just open. You don't see it because you're kind of pinched up against it, but the reptilian man's head snaps, and he runs over to the chest.
If I have time, since it's another action, I'll be using my 4th level slot to cast invisibility.
Okay. Make a stealth check. Because you are now casting a spell as he's running right past you. And I'm pretty sure it has verbal components.
Does it? If it does, I won't cast it. I don't. I probably should have looked at that. Visibility. It does. Okay, so I won't cast it yet. I'll wait till he gets.
To the door?
It only broke one pane of glass. Like, it didn't, like, it was different panes of glass. It wasn't like
It's not all
like
one
a
single
sliding
sheet.
glass door. Okay.
No, like I said, it's broken up into 9 separate panes on each door.
I'm gonna use the sound of him running to squeeze behind the armor, whatever.
Okay. Yeah, I guess as much that you pinned yourself up against the wall. Unless you're trying to, like, actually go behind the armoire. Because it's up against the wall. So that would, yeah.
Okay, I thought I had the 2 feet.
No, it extends 2 feet from the wall. So it gives you 2 feet of cover.
Okay, yeah, I'll do the stealth check and I'll try and cast invisibility.
Okay, go ahead and give me a stealth check.
Just straight.
Just straight stealth. He's currently.
This is gonna be my worst roll yet.
He's currently focused on going to the door.
If I were to step out between the armor, would I be, like, facing down the main door?
Like after he passes?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you wait till after he passes and you kind of, like, turn around the armoire, you'd be going in the direction that he's coming from, so you'd be heading towards the door.
The electric door.
Correct.
That would be a stealth door, check anyway to move past him, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna cast the spell.
Because the stealth is being.
Yeah, I knew it.
All right. Well, I mean, you do cast the spell, and he gets halfway between you and the door, and then he hears the slight muttering of the words that you need, and then he snaps his head back, roughly in your direction, and he's looking around.
I guess it wouldn't matter.
And he's staring pretty much roughly at the spot where you're standing. But he's not moving, he's just staring, and his tongue starts to come out, kissing the air.
Okay. Is there enough room between him to, like, sneak back towards the door now?
By this time, outside of the door, the Minotaur comes stampeding up. And kind of stops about 5 feet away from the sword. Yells, and you understand it as, "The one is here." And the reptilian man, kind of still keeping his eyes in your direction, "Bring her in." And you see him kind of blink once, and the lightning stops from the sword. With that, the Minotaur pulls the sword out from the floor and then lets it go. And before it hits the ground, it turns into liquid, skitters across the floor, and connects back with the armor of the reptilian man.
That's not creepy.
With that, there is enough room between. So currently, from where you're standing, you have your back up against the wall and the armoire. The reptilian man is about 10 feet in front of you from facing the back. So you have 10 feet distance to turn around the armoire if you want. And you still have about another 20 feet to go till you reach the doorway. But as as that's happening, you see this very elegant elven woman creep in through the door, and you immediately recognize her as Archfey. You've seen many pictographs and pictures and portraits and paintings done of these individuals, long extinct. And she stands there. As you kind of poke your head out and see it, she just locks in on you.
Oh dear.
And you know immediately Archfey can see invisibility, just as an innate ability.
I was so caught because what I wanted to do is I wanted to wait for her and cast Dispel Magic on the collar, but I didn't know she was there. So I used it for invisibility. Oh, fuck.
She looks in your direction and then looks at the reptilian man and goes, in Sylvan, but very ancient Sylvan, comes across as, "What do you need, Taskmaster?" The reptilian man, kind of still looking in your direction, nods towards you. "Well, I don't know what you need of me."
Oh.
Wait, what was that?
The Taskmaster nodded in your direction and said, "Well," she said, "I don't know what you need of me."
Okay.
Is
God, my
someone
ideas keep
here?
getting stupider.
Saren's still invisible though, right? She can
Yeah.
just see him.
Correct.
Okay.
Is she protecting Saren?
That's what I said. I wrote in chat. I was like, she's covering.
Is someone here? There's a lot of people here. You need to be more specific.
She's being petty.
I like her.
Now that I'm invisible, the door's open now, right?
Minotaur standing in it, yeah.
I'm gonna start sneaking around.
Wait.
I'm gonna start sneaking around the snake, but I'm locking eyes with the Archfey.
She's not looking at you. She's looking at the reptilian man now.
If she looks at you specifically, it's gonna give you
Make a
away,
stealth check.
I think.
Yeah.
If you're moving,
I'm getting out of the.
Yeah, if you're moving, make a stealth check.
Okay, if she's not looking at me, I'm gonna stay there because I'm gonna wait for her.
Okay. You hear from the reptilian man basically what translates as "fucking bitch," as he reaches into his armor once again, unsheathing his sword, which has a 10-foot reach, and shoving it directly into your space. You didn't move. I need to stop rolling my player killer dice. It's a nat 20.
Fuck, I could have. Fuck that. Too late now.
He would have had disadvantage because of the invisibility, but you lost the stealth roll, so he had a straight roll.
I don't like the mental math you're doing.
Does it make it worse that you guys can see me now doing the mental math?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Kind of.
just for
My-
the slashing damage, that's 23 points.
I'm gonna go down. I only have 35.
And
You
for
said
the-
23.
Yeah, and for the lightning, oh, that's only a 2, so that's 4 for lightning.
So 27.
But you got hit. So you need to do your con save for invisibility.
Oh no.
Half of 27 is 14.
Your con damage has been fucking me for a week.
I mean, he basically impaled Theron, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
I would have had it too. I would have had it with +2.
And with that, almost kind of shuddering back into existence, you lose your invisibility. And the Archfey doesn't change her expression whatsoever. The Minotaur kind of... and the Reptilian kind of just smiles as much as he can smile and just looks at you on the end of his sword as he's now pinned you up against the armoire as he ran it through you.
Do I have time to do something?
Technically, yeah.
I cast Disguise Self. And I make myself look like a male Archfey.
Okay. Ow.
Make a dexterity check. This is for you to do it fast enough. After the lightning damage, which hits secondarily to the actual attack, so there's a bit of a delay between pierce and lightning, and then doing it before he can recognize that you actually change.
Oh, I'm not trying to hide it. I'm just doing it.
Okay, so you're doing a spell? Counterspell?
Yeah. Okay.
As you start to do the verbal and somatic of it, you just see him go, and the spell just fades from existence.
Alright. I still have tongues on, so I don't know if they'll understand me.
You just hear him say, "Sorry, not today."
Oh, I understood him perfectly?
Yeah. Now him seeing what you are, he's changing what language he's speaking to make it slightly easier for you to understand, and tongues picks this up easier.
Do I know if it was Sylvan or English?
This was Sylvan. Any common, you mean? What the fuck is
yeah.
English?
Trade, common, whatever.
I mean, we met a French horse, so I don't think English is all that
Oh.
far off.
Oh boy, I'm bleedy.
Okay, so with tongues, okay.
Well, during your indecision, you kind of, with the pain grimacing and your spell discasted, kind of just looking at him as he starts to slowly open his mouth and the tongue starts to creep out towards you. You just hear the female Archfey say, "Fuck." And all of a sudden your world turns blurry. Kaporin, Rashi, Racha, Bryn, you guys all see a bright white light just illuminates from the back of where everything's going on. Minotaur gets skidded across about 15 feet back out of the doorway. And it's almost like a small mini nuke went off around the corner, and you're just seeing the bright light, white light coming off in the direction as he gets thrown. all the back glass shatters out of this little area. Things get upturned, and you feel the boat kind of rock from the impact. It feels like. A few moments later, Saren, your eyes kind of blinded and trying to blink them back into some form of working fashion. You see you're between trees. This female archfey is currently dropping the collar at her feet. And she kind of looks up and around and says, "Well, you've right fucked up my plans." And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my goodness.
What in the world?
Racha had to fix the freaking Cobra head.
It looked like a really good bed, guys. I mean, imagine nestling into a bed, a cobra's little
A hard
fold or whatever.
wooden cobra thing hood.
As opposed to a rock, yeah.
Saren's chilling in whatever Fae nonsense is happening, and
We're all like,
Hey, I was the smart one that chose the full-blooded elf.
I mean, but then you tried to rogue as a non-rogue and screwed yourself over, man.
I was just playing. I was trying to figure out what the setup was, what the rules of the game were.
The rules of the game are you're not the DM.
Okay, I didn't claim to be, but
All right. So, any questions,
I have
guys?
to wait till Monday.
So him is in the trees. We're still on the regular ship.
I think I'm in the trees. I'm
Okay.
assuming I'm in the Feywild.
Yeah, you just blink and you
Yeah.
just see the not undergrowth, but the under the canopy of forest of trees.
Sounds very Feywild to me.
Dear.
Actually, I do have a question.
Yeah.
With Saren's knowledge, how many elves from current times have ever been to the Feywild?
To the actual Feywild itself, a decent amount.
Decent amount.
Usually higher end wizards, teachers and such, actually they end up taking you as like sort of a graduation trip. They end up taking you guys to the Feywild.
I've been there before.
Yeah,
That's cool.
because they're all about, trying to become as Fey-like as possible. So they want to take you there and show you why they're trying to become Fey-like. So they show you how great the Feywild is and everything about it. But you do know that as not being a Fey elf yourself, you cannot exist in the Feywild too long. Because if you end up staying too long in the Feywild, you become part of Fey energy. And you slowly either become a tree, or some other plant, or you get absorbed immediately into another tree or plant, or just the actual magical Fey energy that resides in the forests themselves.
And then my next character will be a druid.
It takes a while. It's not like...
Join me.
It's not immediate. It's not in one day or something. It's like a few months for this transition to happen.
Wild shape is kind of fun, though. So we could have 2 wild shapers in the party at that point.
No, I'm not playing a druid.
Druids they can be hard.
So any other questions?
Yes.
Not for me.
Where did this come from?
You guys dipped your toes into something that was endgame.
Racha.
Oh no.
Yeah, you guys didn't hear him say, yeah, didn't expect you guys to fix the Cobra head.
One thing that I would like is, couldn't Racha and Nori have had a whispered conversation between the two of them where he asked her to start mentally talking to him, and then he would ask what the word was for land in this language, imagining that somebody has said it sometime.
She can comprehend, but she can't translate. So
Okay.
all the words that she's getting are translating. It's only words that don't translate that she actually hears as they are.
Gotcha. I just wanted to see if I could get that, but it's all good.
No problem. All right, guys. So that ends our session here tonight. If you have any questions, feel free to message me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If I don't talk to you all before then, you guys have a great weekend. And I'll see you all Monday.
Night.
Have a good one,
guys.
guys.
Night.
Night, y'all.
everybody.
Oh my goodness.
And thank you all for those that have stayed with us. Have a great weekend. See you Monday. Actually, he flips the conversation. He goes, I've noticed a little thing between you and Brett.
What?
Nothing, nothing.
No matter what happens, I want you all to stay together, and I want you to do what you need to do to get out of here. Don't worry about me. Help as you can if you can. But mostly worry about yourselves, okay?
I'm not leaving you alone. You can do this.
If anything happens, I want to know that you will be okay.
I'll be safe.
matter what happens, I want you all to stay together, and I want you to do what you need to do to get out of here. Don't worry about me. Help as you can if you can. But mostly worry about yourselves, okay?
I'm not leaving you alone. You can do this.
If anything happens, I want to know that you will be okay.
I'll be safe.